and welcome to the Saladcast E3 special on Saturday the 9th of June 2012. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, Robert Kemp.
That I am.
Have we already had that joke?
Several times.
And there's Zachary Burgess.
Yes. E3, extremely up-to-date news here.
Indeed.
It's only been finished for 2.5 days.
Hey, that's pretty good for
I
us.
don't know.
It wasn't last time we did it literally on the day after.
That's just probably coincidence though, right? Or were we organised enough to go, yes, we must talk about it right now.
I think we organised it specially.
Isn't E3 normally in the middle of the week?
Yeah, but I think last time we did special.
And we were a little bit more in proximity.
That's true.
Last
and
time.
we were also a little more enthusiastic.
This is also true.
So,
not that
E3.
our enthusiasm has decreased, but that might tell you something about E3.
We wish to be enthusiastic.
Yeah.
About the Von gaming industry.
Yeah. We love this industry. Evidently.
But I get the feeling from you guys that you're a bit disappointed by E3 this year.
E312.
E312.
As the logos would have you believe.
Yeah.
It's all written as E3
Oh, yeah.
2, so it's like, it's E312 bitches.
Well, the Microsoft ones were kind of metro-style, billboards and stuff, which looked a bit weird, E3, and then 12
colour.
on a different box, but right next to it.
So it's E312.
And we're on level 1313 of whatever it is. Is that right?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
But no. Because that didn't actually appear in any of these conferences, so we're not going to talk about it.
Really?
No, we might.
Okay. We're going to talk about this Star Wars game.
Oh, right. I'm in the dark about that one.
That's what I said. It didn't appear in any of the conferences.
Yeah.
Somehow. I guess because it's not coming out on this generation of systems, so...
Is it not?
Apparently not.
Well,
Everyone thinks it looks too good to be a this generation game.
Yeah, probably.
There's been a bit of that flying around, hasn't there?
Well, like that one game.
Well,
I don't think there's been many others that have...
We'll get to that.
But they're making the point on Rock, Paper, Shotgun that like every single multi-platform game was actually, of course, at the E3, was of course running on a PC in the background.
Yeah.
Yes.
None of them were actually running on console hardware, so it was all a lie, kind of.
That's what always happens.
Yeah, how does that happen? Well, dev copy, I suppose while they're still in dev, they run them on PCs a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Or ridiculous dev kit versions of the console.
It must be tempting at this point, even though you know you're going to have to scale it back or do work to get it to run at a high frame rate or reasonable frame rate on a console. It must be tempting that when you go to E3 and you got this game, you're like, I'll just turn it up to 11.
Let's make the Uber version. Let's run it on PC Max, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's run it at 1080p, like the consoles never do.
Never will, yeah.
They probably could. That's not a priority for them.
Because clearly frame rate is.
Well, no, that's not even a problem either, is it? They just sort of up effects and stuff and settle for 30 and at 720. That seems to be like, as long as you hit that, you're golden. And it's like, I don't care. I want more than that. I want 60 1080 bitches. I want Wipeout.
For some reason, everyone was, some people were suggesting that, like, what if Wii U might be slightly more worthwhile if it locks everything to 60, and then it doesn't, so. More failure.
Who said
We'll
that?
also get to that.
No, they'd never have said that.
Someone said that.
A developer would have,
No,
just
not a developer.
done it. Do you know what I mean? They would have locked it.
Analysts.
Why would they have locked the whole console at 60? That seems...
Because it's better than the other consoles. It's one of the things that they could actually improve without having to have necessarily that much more power.
Yeah, but you're kind of forcing developers to have shittier graphics compared to other...
Nintendo games don't need better graphics, and they're inherently not going to have better graphics.
It would make porting a bit difficult as well, as seeing as a lot of games are optimised for a certain frame rate, so multi-platform releases
I guess.
might not work so good.
Anyway, what are we doing? Are we going through the conferences? Is that the plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just do it as it happened.
Well, I haven't watched the conferences because I thought they would be fucking boring, and I'm sure I was probably right.
At least 2 of them were.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't awful, but
I don't want to watch Usher particularly. I mean, I'm sure he's very good, and if I saw him in person, he'd
That might
probably
be
be
one
very
of the more
impressive.
interesting bits.
Yeah.
Because it just turned into a concert.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway.
So, what's first?
Microsoft.
Halo
Microsoft.
4, motherfuckers.
No, you forgot. Starting with terrible music. That was my note.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. Music that they used at the intro and ending of their conference was pretty goddamn terrible.
Yeah.
It was all sort of bloopy and sort of like a kid's TV show.
Yeah. But then Halo 4. So
Halo 4.
But then it immediately was like, fuck yeah, Halo 4. Which, I have to say, in my opinion, is looking pretty damn sweet.
It looks pretty... For if it really looks like that on the 360, which presumably it will, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a level up over the Reach engine, and I kind of like the new. There's a slightly different feel to it, which is kind of nice.
We finally, after all these years, get to fight Bionicles.
Yeah, they do look a lot better.
But yeah, it's nice to have a new enemy, I think.
What are they? Just Forerunners?
Yeah, apparently Forerunner AI.
Right. What, like Guilty Spark, but like fighting robots?
Yeah, I guess. Defense mechanisms, I suppose.
Okay. Why didn't they use those against the Flood earlier? Come on. I suppose they had those stupid Sentinel things.
The Sentinels. Well, supposedly the Sentinel beam was more effective, I guess. But
it's such a giant bunch of crap anyway.
It's
all retconned.
Yeah,
craziness.
We're right in the middle of nowhere. Oh wait, here's some humans and some Covenant. What the fuck?
We seem to be fighting over this planet still. The Covenant haven't given up yet for some reason.
Why are the Covenant even there? It makes sense for the humans to be there because it's a deep space exploration ship or whatever.
What, this Infinity
Yeah,
thing?
I guess. But then the Covenant just turned up as well.
So what is it? This UNSC Infinity? What's the deal? Is it is that there's one that's the training ship for the Spartan program, which is the stupid excuse for the multiplier?
Yeah.
Is that the same ship as the?
Yeah, I think it's just a part of the same ship, which also doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense, right?
Especially in that intro, like the classic Halo style. What you call the advertisement video, where they're just like, here's some guys standing around talking in like military uniform or whatever, and he's like, for the first time we've designed a ship that's not military, except it's going to have all these swans on it. That's totally not military.
And it's a bit Infinity. It's a bit compared to the awesome names of the usual military
it's a
ships.
little weird,
it's lame.
Yeah, they kind of
what are they
break in
like?
their like Pillar
of
of
Autumn, In Amber Clad, Forward Unto Dawn. They're all awesome names, and now they call it Infinity. Yeah,
343 probably don't have a good writing team.
Just seems strange. Although I suppose it makes sense if it's not supposed to be.
Maybe it could be like a civilian vessel or something. So maybe it had a name before it got adopted for the Spartan training program that's on board for some reason.
Still a really crap name for a ship.
Maybe it isn't on board.
So if you wanted to train Spartans, surely you'd do it somewhere that's not a mile away from where you live. We might need these Spartans for like defending Earth again or something, but no, just shoot them into space.
Or maybe the fact they put it on this exploration ship is precisely the point, because they'll drop them into like hostile environments. And
they're non-military Spartans. They're just like hostile environment Spartans.
They'll use those suits.
They'll
use those suits. Envirosuits.
It's like, this is designed for handling hazardous materials, but it also happens to be totally awesome for firefights.
And it has like a full weapon loadout system that manages your ammo and like...
Conveniently, yes. Although, they did kind of, they did know that was going to happen, right? Parts of the G-Man did, or whatever.
Well, I don't think they designed that suit for it.
No,
those have been around for quite a while,
yeah, that's
apparently.
True. Well, the guys that you find dead on Zen or whatever, they're wearing those suits, right? Yeah. They probably had guns, right, when they went to Zen.
Yes.
Because they knew that...
Well, maybe not the first couple of times.
Yeah, after they started dying, they probably then thought, hang on, we better add some sort of ingenious ammo management systems to this bright orange suit, which is clearly well camouflaged for Zen.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. Anyway, Halo 4.
Yeah, it's looking pretty sweet, I have to say. They also revealed, not in the conference, but as an after effect, that there's they're making the multiplayer more interesting as well by trying to do a bit of a Black Ops on it in a way. Okay. So they said there'll be more. They said there'll be more. Well, there's a bit of definable loadout stuff now for certain game types. They'd already touched on that a little bit in Reach with the abilities and the starting
loadout.
Yeah, and the starting bit, but now it's a bit more customizable, so you can choose a loadout for certain game types and things like that.
Okay.
Which is interesting. The reason being that they want to try and push it more in the direction of in the multiplayer more skill based than who gets to the rocket launcher first. They're still going to have a bit of that, so there will still be like super weapons. Yeah, so there will be the super weapons on the level, like the sword and the rocket launchers and things. They will the weapons on level will still be there, but it's possibly in a less. There'll probably be less of them, and it'll be more on.
I can't remember. I think it was Halo, but someone said like they're going to have the weapon spawns on the level randomised.
I suppose that could be an option, though, couldn't it? They could do it either way.
That could have just been any multiplayer game with weapons on the map, but I'm sure I remember someone saying that.
Well, it makes sense if it was like an option in its config or something, because Halo has pretty strong configuration for that kind of stuff. So maybe there'll be an option to just chuck weapons somewhere, and maybe you'll have game types or something where it's all about getting to a certain weapon, and it will like highlight it on the map. It's like, go here, challenge dome. And all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so the multiplayer's moving in that direction. They're also going in the Call of Duty direction with Spartan Ops, which is like their version of the Call of Duty Spec Op co-op missions. And they're Spartan Ops. Yeah, they didn't really think hard about that name either.
How's that going to fit in the story, though?
No, it probably doesn't. Well, maybe there's.
It probably doesn't.
They said they
have to.
Well, maybe it's another part of the Spartan training program when they get off the ship, maybe, and start like doing shit.
What's the betting it reuses geometry from the single player, though?
Oh, probably. in a Reach style. But anyway, like specific to co-op missions in the Halo universe sound like a good idea, and also going to be rolling them out as free DLC apparently in a sort of a seasonal, regular update fashion.
Okay, that sounds alright.
So that all sounds good so far. I have to say, one thing I want to pick out is I'm quite impressed with the new. They made a big deal of that they were changing all the gun sounds, and actually, they do sound cool.
Okay,
they sound a lot more real than they did before, which is kind of neat. I mean, it loses. It's a bit strange because you know what the guns are supposed to sound like,
right?
And then when they don't, it's a bit.
Yeah, you get used to it pretty quick. I
suppose, you would. But it's just that initial thing where it's just like, wait, what?
The battle rifle doesn't sound like a battle rifle.
Yeah, the assault rifle sounds a bit more meaty now rather than sort of like it did before. Which is nice. The sound design's great. They have worked on it and it's paying off. So yeah, looks great. Can't wait.
Interesting. Okay.
Moving on. I also wanted at this point. I noticed in my notes that there was the guy they had on first. I can't remember his name or who it was, but his pronunciation of Xbox was pretty. It's quite the Americanism. It was like Xbox,
like a box,
like a box.
On my note about I guess that guy because it's in the same place just says entertainment because they couldn't stop fucking saying entertainment the whole way through this press conference.
They started early and kept rolling with it, didn't they? It's like we can make this the entertainment platform. We'll make it easy to access your entertainment. It will be entertaining to get at your entertainment.
Yeah.
I think because entertainment, but entertainment is like not. It includes gaming, but it's just gaming. So it's like we must say that this is entertainment, not just gaming.
Yeah, which is annoying because that is a note I made that this is beginning to feel like the rumors of Microsoft's direction with Xbox for the future are going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't just going to be a gaming console. It is going to be focused more on mass media consumption, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm just a bit concerned that, none of that other stuff really is why people buy an Xbox still. I don't buy an Xbox because it has the ability to get to iPlayer.
People might now.
Well, iPlayer I suppose is a fairly big deal. The fact that all the 4OD and ITV Player and Demand 5 are all on there is pretty cool. But Microsoft really want to be pushing this for the consumption of paid-for material. Like the access to Netflix and the access to thingies, which are still too expensive, if you ask me, and they are still too. All these crazy services like Zune Pass, which will be replaced by Xbox Music, which came up later.
Yeah.
It's all a bit. Really, you're not targeting many people with this. It's like all of this stuff, as it currently stands, the model is too expensive. It's not taking off that fast. Something we'll have to give, I think, in order for this to. And worryingly, Microsoft have tried this in the past. They have tried with Media Center type devices before, and it's never really worked.
Yeah, and this is not even specifically designed for that, but it has a large install base, so it has that as a bonus. So
the original Xbox will do. I'm a bit worried what they'll do if it becomes too much of a focus on the next Xbox that, is probably still 2 years away. That
when original, you mean 360?
360, right, the current Xbox. They'll focus on that one more than... for now, at least, and try. Maybe now is the experimentation stage, and they'll hopefully have it down by the time 720 comes to be.
Xbox 3. But then comes out, it'll be like, it's all gaming. It better be. Or be like, no processing power, thin client, all cloud gaming.
I think Microsoft have gone on record actually saying that they don't believe that cloud gaming can work.
Yeah.
Presumably, and that makes sense. Presumably, like, ping lag is just always going to be too big.
Yeah.
To make it, a worthwhile concept.
Although, John Carmack saying about how he was annoyed because he could send a packet to Britain and back before he could get an update to his monitor.
Yeah.
Because of the firmware drivers or something, wasn't it? It was the display.
Yeah.
It wasn't the video card. That could send it out at the right time, but it was to do with the buffering of the display or something. He tweeted this, and then someone on Stack Overflow called him out as this has got to be bullshit, right? And then he replied with this ultra detailed thing about how he had a high speed camera set up, and he had like a thing that would press the button on the controller, and then it would change a color on the screen, and he could measure the time by counting frames with the high speed camera. And he was like, "This is ridiculous. What's going on?" I think he was choosing a particularly bad example, but even so, he was saying this is dumb.
I want to know what his ping times are. Presumably he's based in America.
Yeah,
his ping times to London, they're going to be in the 100 of milliseconds.
He's in Austin, Texas or something. I can't remember. Isn't he? Aren't they in Texas?
Yeah.
Surely that distance is going to be clocking up at least 100 milliseconds on a decent ping trip. It's
probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could get it down to 50, but still.
Depends where he's pinging. If he's pinging between two super hardcore corporate centres.
100 milliseconds is quite a lot. For a display update to get processed.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy. Anyway.
You might be right. You might be right. Don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway. Carmack after all.
Splinter Cell.
He would know. Splinter Cell. Okay, I saw some footage of Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell execute time is my subtitle.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell, press some buttons, and then it'll play itself.
Yeah, we kind of thought it was Call of Duty for a while. Until it kind of revealed itself, how that introduction meant what started out.
Because he looks all Arab.
Yeah, and it's like, is this Call of Duty? Oh, and then Sam Fisher turned up. Oh, right, it's not.
Except with a different voice actor. And is he supposed to be younger, or is it supposed to be the same character? Because because the thing is, he was always meant to be old, and then he just got older and older, and now surely he's
he's not old any longer now.
But why not just come up with a new third echelon?
He's reverse Solid Snake.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
He gets young suddenly.
But I was watching the footage, and he goes up to a tent, and he turns on his things, and you can see the guy inside the tent, and he turns them off, and then he uses the knife to slit over the tent, and he goes in, and it's like, I did this 5 years ago or something. This is the same as in Chaos Theory.
Yeah, up until you get into a combat scenario, and then it's just like, right, slow down time. You, and you. Walk forward, everyone dies.
Auto gameplay.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. In fairness, I've not really ever been that fussed about Splinter Cell, but I kind of appreciate what the originals were trying to do. And they seem to not be doing that anymore, so my appreciation is gone.
I kind of feel like Sam Fisher, his advantage was not that he was some ultra shot who could run into a room and shoot 5 guys before they could react.
Oh, so he was a quiet bastard.
Yeah, it's that he could trick them into getting in situations where they were one by one.
Where it was easy to kill them.
Yeah, it was being clever, not being super skilled with a gun.
Yeah. Oh, also this has got to follow up on what Zach said about you guys commented on the timeline a second ago. I think it's afterwards because of the 4th echelon thing.
Well, yeah, because otherwise that would make any sense.
Yeah, but they must have just retconned like crazy. It can't actually fit, can it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Not that it matters. I don't care.
Maybe he's not Sam
important.
Fisher. Maybe he's another Fisher, and it's like
he still
Metal Gear.
mention his daughter though, or something.
Maybe I was about to say maybe it's like Metal Gear, where Snake has taken it's a different Snake. Yeah, like it is in Metal Gear 3.
It must be a different reality from the other ones. Not that they were very coherent, but
but we don't care enough about that to actually care.
No.
So yeah,
fuck it.
And then there was football and football.
Well, yeah, this was EA Sports. EA Sports came on and made a big deal of better with Kinect stuff.
Which was pretty funny that one of their features of Kinect is if you swear loudly in the room and Kinect picks it up, then the referee might be more harsh on you, which is actually hilarious.
That's actually pretty damn sweet. I like that as an idea. But it does mean people will probably just like make sure their Kinect is turned on.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you. I actually did like the little pointless better with Kinect thing in Splinter Cell where he was like, hey you, or whatever. And he actually did. Instead of the whistle button, you just go, yo, you.
Except that probably would be, except the problem with that is you got to make sure you're in a quiet location when you're saying, in case it picks up anything you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't play it with other people in the room.
Because someone could spot you and you could be like, oh, motherfucker! And then everyone comes to you because they just hear someone shout, motherfucker!
And also on the football front, I just put a note which says, pretty sweet.
Yeah, because that was the guy playing NFL. And he was using vocal commands to instruct his team what to do. You know, I forget what they call that.
Yeah,
but before the hype, anyway, the shouts.
He was an actual footballer, presumably. At some point.
And while he does it, he does the obviously not canned comment of turning to the guy and go, "That's actually pretty sweet."
So that was football. And then Fable the Journey.
Yeah,
it's on rails now.
Still looks on rails.
Still on rails.
Still looks crap. Don't care.
Yep,
don't care about that.
Move on.
It looks the same actually as what they demoed last year.
Yeah,
was the thing. So yeah.
And there was Gears.
Forza Dubstep.
Gears.
Oh, Gears happened first, did it?
Yeah.
Gears. This is a prequel.
Gears Judgment.
I heard one cool thing about this that could potentially be cool, which is that I was reading this today. There's they've got a they've put some thought into a more intelligent spawning system. They're calling it S3. It's a new tech for it's basically dynamic difficulty, but it doesn't just change the enemy's health or tactics. It actually changes what spawns where and when and why, depending on.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not like static spawn wells. It has a whole advanced system.
So yeah, each time you progress to a new area, you might actually get a different wave.
Yeah, or they might come from different places.
Interesting.
So it's got a whole. So that sounds like certainly a move away from the Call of Duty Infinite spawn wells do.
Because they did. I think Cliffy B did say that he wanted to make Gears more replayable.
Yeah.
And I kind of know why he wants to do that, because I don't really replay the Gears games.
Well, he was saying that they would... I don't know if it was him saying or one of the other Epic or People Can Fly dudes talking about it. They were saying that you could go back to and replay a level and you might even have a different kinds of enemies appear.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be nice, because they're then integrating with sort of some of the best sort of, the director, I suppose, from Left 4 Dead comes to mind, where, it sort of messes with your experience a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, yeah.
I want to see that more from more games, to be honest, that sort of variation.
Yeah,
so
that director stuff.
So you go back to it and it's like, oh crap, right, I'm not expecting this.
Yeah, they didn't... Yeah, that stuff is good stuff, that director stuff.
It's a neat idea. It needs to be explored more. It poses a lot of challenges, don't get me wrong, in terms of difficulty balance, but if it's used for difficulty balance, then maybe that solves the problem. Yeah.
And he said that they recognise that they kind of pitched the difficulty a bit low on Gears of War 3. Because they're like, oh, well, we made that our longest campaign ever, but everyone came back and said, it's shorter than the last one. They were like, no, yeah, okay, you just died less. So
it was a bit longer. I played it on the hard mode, whatever the hard one is, the sort of 4 out of 5 difficulty level.
Yeah, hardcore or whatever equivalent.
I forget what it's called, but I was okay on that. But yeah, people were saying that normal mode plays itself in a lot of places.
Yeah,
so
that's dumb.
That was pretty dumb.
So,
Forza Horizon.
Forza Dubstep.
Is that made by the Forza?
It is made by Turn 10.
I got confused. I thought it was someone else, but it's not.
I think it is Turn 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it look cool?
Actually, yeah, kinda. I mean, apparently they're keeping all of the Forza handling. They're not dumbing it down in any way.
Okay.
It's all of the physics, all of the
apart from they sort of
just in different style events. moving away from the track and moving towards slightly more street racing.
They have their Forza physics, but they kind of seem to have failed to make a non-car physics models, like fences and stuff. Where you hit them, it's just like they just break. There doesn't seem to be virtually any physics to it.
No, probably the outside world may be a bit more arcadey, so to keep the driving fast and fluid, I suppose.
Which is kind of weird
for that style of game. But we don't. They didn't really show any traffic collisions, did they? Because there appeared to be traffic.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's open world, and it's you can pull into. There are you sort of drive around it in a bit like Paradise in certain sections. For instance, from what I heard, there's some element of you can pull into if you see a racetrack on the side of the road. Like, because apparently they exist just in this area. Because it's based on a real area. I can't remember where it is, like Colorado or something. Or,
Okay.
I can't remember. I could be completely wrong on that, but it's based on like Horizon is a real festival. It exists.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which is where the name comes from. It's like a music/car thing. And then they. But the idea is anyway. You can, as I was about to say, I got distracted. You can drive up to these racetracks on the side of the road, and then it will start an impromptu race or things like that. And it's like, oh, what's that? Let's go see what this place is like. Drive in, race begins, and they haven't really. I'm not sure whether that will integrate with online or not. It'd be really sweet if it did. So you just pull up and it's an online race with the guys that are hanging about there. That'd be
okay.
That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm a little concerned because for me, I'm not sure Test Drive and Paradise and
those style of games.
They're not. They don't really. Everyone loves Burnout Paradise, but I'm not. I wasn't keen on the open world. I preferred my stages all nice and planned.
Burnout 3 is still the best one.
Yeah. Damn it. Well, Burnout 3 and Burnout 4, whatever that was called. The one on the 360.
And to be honest, I'm skipping ahead here, but I think the Need for Speed, what is it? Most Wanted, looks kind of like Burnout 3.
It's Burnout Paradise.
All right, okay. We'll get to
that. Yeah. We'll go back to it. But yeah, so it looks interesting, but I'm wondering how it will fare in terms of how the open world stuff will actually work.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know, because
and it's another Forza game, pretty soon.
And that's cool.
Maybe, but it's just.
Well, I didn't get the last one, but
they blurt them out kind of quick now.
Yeah, but it's not going to have all the circuits. I mean, it
is a different game.
It's quite different,
which is neat.
That's cool because I get a bit bored with circuits sometimes. I don't know. It depends. They're not very visually interesting, are they? Let's face it. Often.
No, but most of the time you find if you take a game like that seriously, you find the bits that you need to be interested in, like certain marks on the track and stuff that you then use as a reference point for when to start performing your maneuver and stuff. You don't actually, after a while, you don't end up looking at the other stuff. You're purely looking at the line and the marks and the little details that actually are important to your race. I don't care as long as it looks real-ish. That's what makes those games for me, is the realism. So yeah, Forza, woo.
And then it was Xbox Kinect voice dash control.
Yeah, they went on about that for a bit too long.
Which I've noted as, we can't make an actual interface, so just search everything with voice. Because Dash sucks so bad, we're not going to try and fix that, we're just going to let you say things at it and then it'll go where you need to go.
Yeah, they did say they'd improved the search element of it, so if you Bing by genre, for instance, it can do that now. They didn't make it completely clear whether you could voice shortcut to places, like I've been talking about before, where I want to just go to a particular screen from anywhere. Can I voice shortcut to it? There was a few teasers that they didn't massively talk about, but the new Dash appears to have a favourite panel, presumably replacing Quick Play, so you can pin stuff you're using at the moment or use frequently and go to that list, presumably so you then don't have to... Because they still didn't seem to solve the problem that I think the Kinect interface is a bit shit at, in that you can only say things that are on screen.
Yeah.
They didn't... Because the guy who still went to a menu, he still nexted through it with his voice until the thing he wanted was on screen.
Next. That's ridiculous.
I don't want that. I want to be able to say... I just want to be able to say what I want, straight off.
Yeah.
Like iPhone voice recognition. I just want to say it.
Are the overlays new now? Where when you're using Kinect, it puts the actual text, what you have to say over over the picture.
No, it does that already. Yeah. When you start voice mode, you get these little black banners pop up over the items to show what you have to say to select that item.
Can you voice search YouTube yet? God damn it!
As soon as they get that in, I'm happy. To be honest,
it's the most obvious use case.
Although, in fairness, something they talked about later on might render that.
Right, okay.
Or at least less necessary. It will still be cool, but we'll get to that.
Will we? I don't know. I don't seem to have that note.
I do. It's later on.
Next. Sports and music. Don't really care about that.
Yeah, sports and music. Lots of TV.
The night sports program.
They just kept going on about it, didn't they? Just TV.
Yeah.
And it's how much is this going to cost? Like I said before, how much is this going to cost? And it's guess what? it's still TV. They haven't fucked it. Was my note on this. It's like, what can you really do? You've just added TV. Wow. Okay.
Specific TV, though.
Yeah. I mean, in this country, all we have on the TV front is Sky. To the point where I noticed they've renamed that actual section of the dashboard to just the Sky section. It's not labelled TV anymore. It's labelled Sky.
Weird.
So maybe they've given up in this country for a while. Because you have the video apps, I suppose, for on-demand stuff. But it's, yeah, it's a little strange.
Okay, more games.
No, Nike Sports Program.
God damn it.
Oh yeah, Nike.
I guess that is a sport. I guess that is technically a game of some kind.
Nike Sports, yeah, they're trying to get in on the fitness thing.
And doing it badly.
And yeah, it didn't look... Well,
doing it worse looking
well, you know what? It might actually be scientific.
More scientific, yeah.
And the behaviour of the game might be more accurate. But
it just
visually it looks a bit shit. You know, I like the aesthetic of Ubisoft's offering. And it's the Your Fitness series just looks good and looks appealing to use. Whereas it sounded all good on paper until they showed the clips, and it's like, wow, this doesn't actually look that great.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's not about the aesthetic, but it just didn't look great. You know, they had that incredibly fuzzy, like just
connect
outline of you that was being displayed on screen, and it's like the Ubisoft version's much better with its like it's you're there.
Yep.
Thing.
And after that, it was Smart Glass.
Smart Glass.
Which I labelled as, we still can't make interfaces. So why not use a touchscreen to do some things rather than a controller?
Well, I don't know. Smart Glass is kind of cool. There could be a lot of interesting things come out of that. For starters, it's their on Wii U style gameplay.
That looked kind of cool with the NFL game, I have to say, with choosing the plays on your.
It might be easier.
Touchpad.
Yeah, but that's what
a play.
That was one of the things they tried to show on the Wii U, though, wasn't it? Like last year, when it was like, here's a football game.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Microsoft's like, we can do that too. Shut your face.
But as I said, is like this is exactly the same problem that the Home had on PlayStation, where who's going to bother to make this shit? Because the developers aren't going to bother added shit like that where they showed the Game of Thrones thing where it's like here's a map.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Countryside. They're not going to bother making that.
There is a problem with this thing that both Sony and Microsoft's approach. It's like yes, you can do it. Yes, the Microsoft approach is going to be cross-platform across like pretty much any mobile and any tablet, including iOS, including Android, including Windows when it eventually launches this year. It'll work across all devices, supposedly, and hopefully it'll work the same across all devices, which gives them a bit more of an in than Sony to this concept.
Yeah.
But I agree with Zach. It's an option, and developers have never been that keen on targeting.
I think they're going to make all their first-party developers do it.
Maybe, yeah. I want to see
it's just a waste of time that you could spend making a better game.
But the biggest, I think one of the nicer things about this is, it may solve the YouTube problem because it will be easier to navigate and type in what you're searching with a tablet than it will ever be with a control. And you could, in theory, search for stuff. The way that they've been talking about it is, in theory, you could search for stuff and do stuff on your tablet, separate from the console.
Yeah. And
then go, hey console, have this.
Yeah, that would be cool with YouTube.
That would be very neat.
I mean, it's like the number of times that you just hang out with friends and you want, is either there's a computer there or there's a laptop there and everyone's, trying to grab it and queue up the next YouTube clip. You can't do it with a TV. Finally, maybe we can.
This could finally potentially be an easy way for anyone in the vicinity to say, hey, Mr. Console, I've got this cool thing I want everyone to see.
In other words, the best trolling device.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You could just certainly go...
something horrible.
Yeah.
You can certainly go, what's through this door? It's a Rickroll!
Well, trolling is a art.
Yep.
But people get bored of it.
And then we get back to a game after that.
Okay. Can I just ask one
and
thing?
IE. They talked about IE.
Oh, yeah. I didn't note that down, even though I should have done because it was retarded.
It's
like, hooray, Internet Explorer, cheer. What?
Right.
Why are you cheering?
There's a browser on my TV.
Well, again, that kind of sort of makes sense given that they were saying it in the smart glass context.
Oh, can you throw up your content that you...
Well, it's not... Let's put it this way. It's not really going to be that easy to control via Kinect or via a controller. So the fact that you can touch control it on your tablet... Again, for showing people things, I think this is going to be its benefit. Because, to be honest, if I had a tablet, I'd use the tablet.
And you do have a tablet.
Yeah, and I do. So yeah,
but you could just hand someone a tablet and go, "Look at this," which you can't do with a laptop very easily.
Maybe, but if you had a crowd, I guess, and there was something online, or perhaps it would open up to online services that they haven't yet made an app for on Xbox, depending on how much they support HTML5 properly, or how much they won't support Flash. But let's be honest. But it's
I heard a weird thing about Windows 8. This isn't really related to the Xbox, but apparently, it's got the desktop mode and it's got your Metro touchscreeny mode thing, majig. Well, you can launch Internet Explorer, obviously, in the tablet touchy mode.
Mm.
And of course, when you go to desktop, you can just click Internet Explorer and launch an instance of it.
Yep.
But they don't share cookies or favourites or anything.
No, they don't.
They're like
two
different
very
things.
separate apps.
What the frick?
It's a dumb idea. It's like,
Why? Why?
I think there's a disconnect in that there's obviously designed. Well, this is there's very good. There's actually a pretty good reason for this because of the way they've architected Metro and desktop.
Right.
And the reason is this: because desktop is technically an app living within Metro.
Oh God!
In terms of the architecture, desktop has been relegated to an app in the way that Windows handles it. So the transition from a desktop app to a Metro app is made very difficult by that decision.
Right. I'm not sure this is going to be a big success, but we'll find out.
No, the two different modes are a bit of a weird one. But I think Windows 8 will... I think desktop users will use Windows 8 in desktop. Tablet users will use Windows 8 in Metro.
Probably.
I think the separation will be natural because of the way people use these things.
Yep.
They'll stick to the paradigms.
I think there'll be another iteration. Like Vista.
Yeah, the fact that you can do both is still kind of nice. You could have the same app. You're never going to be restricted on a desktop machine as to what you can and can't do. Yeah. Which is still nice. But yeah, it's a bit strange. It's not quite how you expect it. But first hit, as you say, this might be 8 may be the experiment, and they'll get it right in like a 8 service pack or 9 or
9. Yeah,
but it'll be fine. I'm not sure it's a problem. But
meanwhile, hilarious flame wars about the capitalization of text on the menu bar of the next Visual Studio.
Oh God!
I don't know if you've seen this, but
Tomb Raider.
Funny.
Shut the fuck up. We need to move on.
It's so funny. All gaps.
Tomb Raider.
Pile.
Did we mention they're dropping Zoom?
We kind of skipped over that when we were talking about sports and music.
Xbox Music.
Yeah.
And they're calling it that.
If you buy every device.
So if you buy music on a PC from the Microsoft Store, it's called Xbox Music.
Yes. Bit of crappy branding, if you ask me. I don't think... I'm in two minds about it, is where I stand. Because Xbox is a brand that, in theory, they're now breaking out of it being tied directly to the console. Which means maybe the next console will have a different name, as in it won't be the Xbox, it will be something that can do Xbox, which is a bit strange. It's like they're changing the brand and what it means.
They should just start using the X, copy the Apple thing, start using the
X Music.
Yeah, because if you think about iPod,
the Xbox
that's where it started.
Sense, yeah.
Oh no, iMac's where it started.
X Live, just call Live X Live instead of Xbox Live,
because
that will be a cross device. And you know what, you may have stumbled upon it.
No, well, it is a rip off, but who cares?
It works. Yeah, it's quick to say.
It's kind of cool. That is a good letter, X. If you're going to pick a letter, X is quite
to the extreme.
Better than I, isn't it? What does that mean? Internet, great, brilliant.
Information.
I think it does mean
it's
internet.
My information pad.
The iMac was the first Mac with a built-in modem, right? That's
maybe
Internet
right.
Mac. And now we have Internet phones. Yeah, like every phone. Anyway.
Not really.
And
like
Internet pads.
Internet cloud.
And Internet
Tomb Raider.
It's not the ITV, though.
I don't know why. I've only got Tomb Raider written down in the Microsoft conference. Did they show it in the other one?
Tomb Raider.
Don't know.
I don't think they did.
Because
it's not one of the other companies. It's not Ubisoft or...
No, I think that demo only showed up there.
Yeah.
So how's Lara Croft looking? Covered in dirt?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
You know what?
Murdered.
This game bothers me a little bit, because it's like, it's like... I like where I see where they're going with it. Tomb Raider does suit the more Uncharted kind of stole Tomb Raider's thunder, and they want some of it back.
Yeah.
But I can't I find it hard to attach to Lara in this not because she's now not fake, but because she gets beaten up a lot. This game is basically, let's wail on Lara for several hours.
That is a bit strange.
She's properly fucked up all the time, and things just keep happening. She runs into trees, she gets impaled, and she's fine. She's fine.
And also, kind of dumb, it seems like. Whereas, I'm just going down this cliff path on a giant waterfall / river thing. I think I'll just wade the fuck in there. That's going to go well. Doesn't seem to think about it. And also,
there's a lot of quick time and there's a lot of gimmicks on what we've seen.
Yeah, and that was start of Year of the Bow.
Yeah, that started Year of the Bow, yeah.
Did that really start it?
Yeah, well, in terms of chronologically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What, E3-wise?
Yeah.
But we already knew about the Crisis 3 bow.
Yeah.
That was already coming.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Tomb Raider bow, shoot guys with a bow, and then get shot at a lot.
It does look kind of... graphically, it looks nice. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly wrong with the gameplay. It's just the believability of her wounds.
Yeah. Especially because they already showed, what happens, and that must be, the last year, that must be right at the start of the game, and she immediately gets impaled, and it's wow, it just goes downhill from there, apparently, somehow.
Did she raid any tombs?
I don't think.
Well,
maybe.
Maybe that.
Don't know what the story is.
Or maybe that's how it ends. She finds something lucrative.
Or it will just be here's the center of this evil cult on this island, and they're in some kind of tomb.
She raids it, finds some loot, gets filthy rich.
Yep, basically. And then there was 3 games that didn't tell us anything about anything.
New IP season.
Yeah, Ascend, Loco Cycle, and Natter. No 3 trailers tell you absolutely nothing about what they are.
What was it? It was called Ascend New Gods, and I've put in brackets of War.
Yeah, basically.
It's basically God of War.
So Loco Cycle is Twisted Pixel.
It is Twisted Pixel.
What the hell is that?
And it has the big science logo on the bike.
What? Yeah, so they're just using their Aperture-esque
thing,
keeping their branding.
Right.
But that doesn't tell you anything about
we know nothing about this game other than there's a bike. And it's Loca!
Apparently.
Do you think it'd be funny? I suppose.
It's gotta be. It's Twisted Pixel. If it's not funny, and doesn't involve beards, and doesn't involve live action footage.
Yeah. So those didn't tell us anything at all. Those was a super short time. Then there's Resident Evil 6.
More QuickTime events.
I just wrote just more of that.
It's
Resident Evil, some more.
No.
Only the demo that they showed, it's why does he keep shooting the zombies in the chest? You retard!
Everyone knows to shoot zombies in the face.
Unless that's changed in the Resident Evil universe at some point. He did seem to be more or less just going for the bullets were stunning them, and then he was just running up and punching them.
I think it was part of the demo. Yeah, they desperately wanted to show.
Coughing fit, I think.
We've lost Dan. Dan's dying.
Oh, our reaction man has disappeared.
Oh no, we're going to have to be all emotive for him.
Well,
I'll be Dan. You carry on.
Luckily, here's something we don't care about. Racketeer.
Wasn't that the game that was released a few years ago on Steam where you play the shopkeeper in a backwards RPG style?
Yep, apart from this has a W.
What? No, seriously, on a serious note, fucktards. They're stealing them. That is proper name stealing, just because it's pronounced the same.
I don't think you could say that it's name stealing when Racketeer, the Steam game, was a name that was made up of the 2 names of the main characters.
Yeah, I know,
but isn't a word.
You say it Racketeer, though, or I suppose some people say Racketeer.
Yeah, because of weird Japanese pronunciation.
Yeah, but it's... Even so...
But Racketeer makes sense in a, compound word, because it's
Call it Nunchucketeers! Why isn't there not a game about Nunchucketeers?
Yeah. I just wrote more poopy Angry Birds.
It was basically 3D Angry Birds for kids.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's not really... I don't have a problem with what the game is doing. It's not something I'd really play myself,
no.
But, I see what they're going for.
And had an annoying stage demo, of course.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Because it was just you wrecked that good, and she's like, yeah, I did.
Her response, yeah, I did.
It was just yeah. Whatever they said, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Then, Ipseflup.
This actually looks pretty sweet.
Everyone was super enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, plus
mainly because there was somebody entertaining on stage.
Yeah,
actually was
like,
funny.
holy shit.
Plus a bit of and they made fun of the whole smart glass thing.
Oh, yeah.
So you can do this on this device and on this device, and it will even interface with your toilet or something to that effect.
We could have done this, but instead we made this game.
Yeah, and we thought long and hard about that, but no, we just made an RPG. But it looks pretty cool. Like the style, Obsidian are behind it, which is interesting.
Always interested in their stuff.
Yeah.
It's always a bit.
It's always
strange.
It's always a bit meh in the delivery, but they do try hard on a lot of things. Like their conversation stuff in Alpha Protocol was pretty cool.
They have some weird writing going on.
Yes.
Obsidian, weird and interesting,
Which is convenient for South Park, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, presumably it's not written by Obsidian, but there's some help. But they've got the look down.
That can't be that hard.
No, but
I don't know.
There's a certain amount of making it fit, perform exactly the same as the cartoon.
Yeah,
there is something in that.
They could probably literally use assets from the cartoon because the cartoon is made in Mayo, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they might have got people to, the same artists to draw the.
But the trouble with that is it makes it impossible to tell how much of that trailer had any gameplay in it. It's like, is this actually the game, or is this just meant to look like a game made in the same style?
They have talked a bit more about it since then, and it basically plays out a bit like a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
In classic style, just all South Park themed, and with a character that you make to look like anything. And it's the bit that they talked about this one bit of the game where Cartman's deciding what you should be called, which is obviously the bit where you type your name in. Instead of calling you by that name, he just comes up with something else, and then it will choose to call you that in voice throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So the example of the guy that was doing it at the time was Cartman just decided to call him douchebag, and it's like, is this what you want to be called? No. All right then, douchebag.
Typical.
So that's okay.
So that's South Park.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I reckon that'd be cool.
And then suddenly there was a concert.
Yeah, then Ashley turned up.
Yeah.
For Dance Central 3.
Yeah.
Which I labelled as more of that.
Which looks like Dance Central 1 and Dance Central 2.
Only with time travel! Apparently.
Yeah.
You'll go back in time to prevent dance crimes!
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what they say.
So many dance crimes across history. You can put a stop to it. Go back to Eurovision 2012 and stop those grannies.
Yeah. We must stop Heffelbank Hanklespank.
Yep. So yeah, that was Dance Central.
And
concert.
Guess what they finished on?
No.
Alright then.
The answer is a really bad demo of Black Ops 2.
Oh.
No, I don't think it was a really bad demo.
It was badly played. He was terrible at it.
Oh, he wasn't great at it, no.
That's what I meant.
Well, at least he was actually playing it and he wasn't pretending to play it, which is really dumb.
Yeah. Also, they have a Farsight now, clearly.
Yeah. Things that can shoot through walls.
Right.
Charge sniper rifles.
Of course, it's set in the future, right?
Yeah.
Partially, yeah.
Drones.
I don't get the timeline of this, because what is it? It's 2020 something,
yeah.
Is it? And you're still playing the guy, Mason, from the first Black Ops.
Are you playing
no,
him?
It's his son.
Oh, they've revealed that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got very confused. He's like, this guy must be like 60.
He'll probably still be in it at some point.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Have to rescue him or something.
There'll be some crossover between old Mason and young Mason. Presumably, that's how this story will work.
Are they going to try and make old Mason like the equivalent of Price or something in the Blops universe?
Yeah,
the Blops universe.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be a combat role, I guess, in the future.
Well, they need to find out about some numbers. Clearly, all these drones will be controlled by some kind of numbers.
Yeah, it's always about the numbers. There's got to be a follow-on from the story.
How did we find out the code to take over all these drones? Well, obviously, it was the number stations.
I wonder if it'll be something like the G and J key stuff, like that people supposedly, there have been stories about in the past. It's a load of bollocks, but it's there's these keys and you can break all cryptography with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't.
So it's COD.
That was the end of Microsoft.
COD, yeah, I know it's Black Ops, so I actually have a little bit of interest about this, given the last Black Ops was actually kind of good.
Yeah,
it's different enough from normal COD for me to be interested.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So two big, spectacular, boring shooters there.
It's not boring.
I don't know. I withhold my judgment on that.
Yeah.
Halo was pretty awesome when it first came out, but there's been quite a few games since then.
There's been 4 mainstay ones and an offshoot.
Yeah, true.
And they've all been good. So I have no reason.
They've all been consistent, like the same. Only good.
They're good, kind of good.
Yeah.
They've changed enough with each iteration for them to feel okay, feel fresh enough to carry on.
Oh no, wait! I didn't say I forgot Gears there in my. I said 2. I meant 3. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah, but in fairness, they didn't really show that in the press conference. They showed a very murky-looking trailer, and that was about it.
A trailer not nearly as good as any of their other trailers.
So yeah. Moving on.
And fresh new franchises like Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Anyway. Let's talk the EA call. I don't have many notes about this.
I think these were bound to be shorter.
Yeah, well, they were a little bit short. They were like an hour and a bit rather than the full 90 minutes. But it was like, even so, it just wasn't that interesting. The EA one in particular was pretty dull.
Well,
really?
Sort of.
What went on?
Well, Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3, it's just Gears of War now.
Yeah.
Did Dead Space 2 sell? I can't remember. Because they look quite cool. I got really good reviews.
Yeah, did alright.
It occasionally turns up on a Steam sale. I think.
Yeah.
But Dead Space 3 is clearly just Gears of War. And you look like you start fighting against other humans. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
What?
And it's in co-op, and you have another guy there.
I had the giant bomb trap up while we were watching this, and everyone was going like, oh, the lost planet has been found. And it's in Dead Space.
Yeah. It's also snow, I guess.
So they've made this like survival horror kind of thing, and it's gradually turned into Gears over the course of
you seem to have a buddy with you at all at the times they showed, meaning that they've got there's a co-op element to it, so presumably you could play the whole game in co-op, maybe.
Yeah,
it's but it doesn't look all of the tension from Dead Space, because they knocked it down a notch in Dead Space 2 anyway.
Well, arguably they can't really show that at the press conference.
Why?
So they didn't. But then you wonder whether there is any there anyway.
No, I guess maybe the moment they've shown us was just, or the 2 moments they showed us were like shot action sections. Yeah.
2's probably going to be the sweet spot, though, isn't it, in terms of that franchise? Play that one. Play that now.
Maybe, but yeah, a lot of people thought the 2 was dumbed down from 1's original.
But again, we don't really care about Dead Space 2.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, I'm not that fussed.
And then it was football again, with the hilarious note of, oh no.
Yeah, it was like, I want to take a bite of that.
And then he goes, oh.
Yeah, we talk about Madden, for some reason he wants to take a bite.
Yes.
There's just so much Madden.
So that was football. Don't really care about that either.
Not interested.
And then there was the 2 SimCities. SimCity Social, which is like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
They already tried that once and cocked it up.
Don't even want to know. Is that a Facebook game?
Yeah.
It's made by Zynga, isn't it?
I don't know.
No, sorry, I'm getting confused.
Oh, no, the other, the ones that EA owns.
Yeah.
So it's not PopCap, is it?
No.
Or is it?
Yeah.
And then there was actual SimCity.
Hooray!
Which they didn't really show enough.
Well, the aesthetic looks really... I was a bit surprised. It looks kind of too much like they put it in the Sim.
I think it looks pretty cool.
Well, it looks like The Sims. Today. They've gone too much down that sort of
cartoony-ish.
The Sims isn't super cutesy, though, is it? It's like
pretty cutesy.
I don't know.
Depends which version of the Sims you're playing.
Yeah, people have the right proportions and everything.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily. I'm not saying that the people are wrong. It's the way, the colour palette and the tone. Well, I suppose the tone wasn't going to be
animation.
The tone was never going to be hard boiled, but it's you know what I mean. It just has that. It's a bit too light and airy.
I saw some buildings going up, and it looked like a Monopoly Tycoon because they kind of stretched the texture. Yeah. It looked awesome. I mean, really dumb, but awesome. But
those tiny bits of preview video that they showed of SimCity now, it's like there's still too often that you're seeing them like placing buildings. It's like, no, where's the growth? Although you do see a little bit of them zoning, and it's like, holy shit, it's a curved zone.
Yeah, that looked pretty cool. It's like literally 3 seconds. It's like, oh, that's awesome. And and they kind of even in the trailer, they're kind of talking about the routing of traffic and
they show a bit of the overlays.
And that was quite dramatic when the train comes into the station and like 1 million people pour onto the pavement, and you think that doesn't happen. And you think, wait, that totally happens in real life sometimes.
Yeah. But then another thing I heard was that apparently you're no longer zoning density, you're only zoning what type of zone.
Yeah.
And like the density is just determined on like how much traffic is going nearby.
That might be fair enough.
Which is that sort of makes sense in terms of like logic, but it doesn't really give you very much control.
No, and I think I'd want like to be able, as the council or whatever, or the city planners to be able to say, I want this type of building here. Unless
it's
within reason, obviously.
Unless there's some kind of maybe the different kinds of roads are more important now, where it's like if you build a high capacity road, that automatically becomes a more prioritised route, so it gets more traffic.
Yeah, dense.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, because in real life you have like building restrictions, like you're in London. You're
literal zoning.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
Yeah, but it's not like build medium-sized houses here. It's more like don't build a massive fuck-off skyscraper right here because
it'll ruin the view.
It's the opposite of opposite zoning.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I also was reading on Tinternet that there's a bunch of mods for SimCity 4 that fix all your traffic problems, so you might want to look at.
I already tried a couple of. I mean, I've had that stupid road mod for ages, but
right.
with the really complicated road stuff, and that works to some extent, but there's other problems with it.
Okay. Well, I don't think it was extra tiles or anything. It was like better AI.
Well, the extra tiles one also comes with you can do some adjustments to it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So. I was wondering if we could just jump straight there.
Not quite. Not enough simulation, apparently. So after SimCity
but yeah, I suppose that I'm missing the point there. Like the aesthetic is secondary.
Well, maybe.
I don't know. I think it looks fine. Personally.
Maybe.
And they've still got time.
Yeah.
Not till February.
God damn it. Motherfuckers. And then Battlefield 3 Premium.
Yeah.
Premium, dudes! Premium!
Oh, it's basically a season pass.
Yeah.
With a few other things thrown in that I can't really remember.
They don't matter. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Are you interested in buying that pass?
I am, because I'm pretty sure we're probably going to get all the DLC anyway.
I'm not convinced.
Well, Zach's umming and ahhing about the close quarters pack.
I'm umming and ahhing about all of those packs.
Yeah, but the close quarters for me is just like, that's the one I really want. And that's the first one. Well, am I going to be too interested in... The one I'm not fussed about is the big open vehicle battle.
You've never liked that kind of stuff.
That's always sucked. It's always sucked.
Well, that's... Yeah, but...
And the vehicle combat, I'm not sure it is as strong in Battlefield 3 as it has been. I still think 2142 had the vehicle balance just right. Whereas in this one, it's a little too easy for tanks to get fucked up.
That's not... I mean, in 2142, it was just as easy for tanks to get fucked up.
Yeah, but not...
As soon as everyone got the anti-vehicle rifle, you just die instantly.
I don't. There's something weird about how it feels in Battlefield 3. I feel kind of a lot because I think people blend in. There's more terrain. There's more stuff going on. It's harder to see stuff so you can stop yourself from getting fucked.
Yeah, and it's really difficult to tell where you're getting fucked from most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Things just you're just in the general. If you could be driving along casually and you'll just die like instantly with no real warning. Mines are too difficult to see. Which is
you can spot them now, so they appear on the map.
You sort of can, yeah. They're a bit too difficult to see.
But that's the whole point of mines. If you could see them really easily, no one would ever die from mines.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I think it's my personal experience that makes me think this, because when I'm against a tank and I'm on foot, I find it a royal pain in the arse. When I'm in a tank and there's one guy on foot somewhere I can't find, then it's a royal pain in the arse and I die.
It's like war.
I know, but it's just... I don't know. I don't think the vehicle balance is quite so hot in this. Conversely, when I'm using those bloody... aquatic vehicles on the one with the docks...
Yeah.
And that his grenade launcher is on them.
Yeah.
It's like, that shit is awesome. For some reason, I do like ridiculously well.
That's because that vehicle has like 5 times as much health as all the other vehicles. Yeah. So it gives you enough time to react and shoot the guys.
Exactly. I think
and it has an anti-personnel weapon.
That feels more like how it should be to me. It's like there's still a challenge to take down on foot, but not crazy difficult if you're organised. You know, it's probably going to take more than one guy to take him down, and that I'm fine with.
Well, they did nerf the tank armor in the previous patch, so that did make it so they died a lot. Well, I think they've half undone that.
Yeah,
so they might be a bit tougher again.
I'm okay with vehicles being as tough as they should be, and it doesn't feel like they are.
Yeah, in real life, it's like in real life, not every soldier on the battlefield has a fucking rocket launcher like they usually do in Battlefield.
Yeah, on certain maps, everyone goes engineer. So it's like, I don't know. I've never liked the big scale stuff because you just spend too much time moving. It's like getting to the fight and then dying in an instant when you get there.
At least the tanks are faster now.
Bah humbug. Crisis 3 though.
No, you've missed. Well, you jumped straight to the end.
I don't care. That was all I was interested in.
You missed all this other shit. There's Star Wars, which they're making free on the first 15 levels, like World of Warcraft.
All right, I might play that then.
Yeah. now you won't have to buy it. Woo! But that seems like that's a bit. Is like.
Can you do that for every class?
I don't know.
That's cool. There's tons of content, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, how many levels are there? Like 60, presumably.
Something along those
lines. So 15 is quite a bit.
But there's like, if you consider that,
well, I mean,
how long
you won't get through the entire story.
Well, no,
because otherwise, they're hoping to hook you into the story, right? They'll probably end it on a cliffhanger for every character. They probably worked it out that at like level 15, you're like, what's going to happen next?
Point. Yeah. Oh, unless it means you can carry on, or you could try, but you're stuck at level 15.
That'd be funny. Do it hardcore.
Yeah.
It's like, if you consider how long that's been out before it went 15. I mean, it's not fully free to play, it's only level 15. But I mean, World of Warcraft took like several years before they started.
It's been most of a year, hasn't it? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, consider it a demo. Because,
it is.
It's quarter. Well, 15 is quite. Isn't even going to be. Even if the cap is 60, 15 isn't a quarter, is it? Because things get progressively longer as you. Yeah, as you level up. So it's just basically they've offered demo mode.
But it's like World of Warcraft did that as well. I think it took them like a lot longer before they did that.
But it was a different business. But I get what you're saying. Like, obviously, this isn't as successful as World of Warcraft.
No, nothing is ever going to repeat World of Warcraft. No. Not even World of Warcraft 2 or whatever Blizzard come up next will repeat World of Warcraft.
But
because there's competition now.
They so wanted to, but they didn't. It really hasn't been out that long.
No.
It's not even been half a year yet, really.
Yeah, Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas, is it? Oh.
They launched, right? December 26th or something.
Yes, because you were going to buy it and then you didn't.
No, I didn't. Because I was moving and stuff.
Yeah.
I hope you get... When do you get your ship? Do you get your ship before?
Probably not before 15, I bet.
Damn it. Okay.
But the ship shit is crap anyway, apparently.
So. Flying it, but that's not the point, is it? It's for having the Millennium Falcon equivalent and being able to go where you want and have a crew.
Well, not go where you want, really.
Yeah, go to the next
Go to a rail.
Yeah.
Right, and then it was Medal of Honor Warfighter, more shooters.
Oh, what does that look like?
Looks like all the other ones.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. It looks graphically very pretty because it's powered by the Battlefield engine, and they can. Well, in fairness, the Battlefield 3 single player did look pretty sweet in places. And it's obviously they've learned a bit more on how to refine it and make it look.
I keep forgetting that has a single player.
Super good. Well, that's because it's rubbish.
And that was that. It's more shooting. Then there was some more football. Don't care about that. UFC also don't care about that.
No,
they're like, woo, we got the license.
Then there was that Need for Speed bit, which I guess we already talked about, kind of.
Yeah, it looks like Burnout Paradise 2 with cop chasers.
Yeah.
Although it does look, in fairness, in defense of this new one, because some of the stuff I didn't like about Paradise was because the open world races always ended up being pretty much the same.
Yeah,
because they'd only had those like 10 ending points.
Yeah,
and so eventually you always ended up on the same stretch of road.
Yeah, because you're always heading.
And you're on a route, and using shortcuts often wasn't actually that helpful in the actual race scenarios. That stuff was kind of a bit rubbish. But where Most Wanted seems to get it a bit better is that they rein you in a little bit, and they have checkpoint races.
Okay.
So you can take whatever route you want as long as you go through these checkpoints.
Like Midtown Madness 1.
Yes, which is a lot better because it means your route is now going to be a little bit more defined.
Awesome.
Meaning the pack will stay closer together, meaning that you'll be able to do more of the smashy stuff. That is Burnout.
In Midtown Madness, you could do them in any order, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Which obviously most of the time you do it in one particular order, but sometimes it's like, hang on a minute.
I can take a better route. But yeah, no, there will be fixed checkpoint. Apparently some of the checkpointing is a bit harsh though, like where the checkpoints actually, where it counts you as being nearby. And I found the HUD that they were using a little bit weird looking.
Right.
Like it looked, it's one of those sort of like it doesn't get smaller as the checkpoint gets further away style HUD, so there's a big indicator saying checkpoint.
And it's hard to tell where that actually is.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Because the word stays the same size no matter.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff.
So I don't know. It's still there's work to be done.
I think
that's
pretty cool.
And it didn't correct me if I'm wrong here, but it looked like when the event had ended and he had cops on him, it then meant there was still a cop chase to sort out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but apparently, I heard what the mechanic for escaping the cops is now, and it sounds kind of dumb. It's just like there's specific locations where you just have to drive up and park, and then the cops leave you.
Oh, really?
Oh, awesome.
Like hideouts.
Yeah.
Respray shops.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know why, but I quite like the way the camera just went sideways at the end of the race. Like, whee! Like, so the road was like completely up the side of the one side.
It would make a bit more sense if they'd have made it so the car drove past and looked like it had knocked something over.
Yeah, it was like...
Just like turn it sideways to make a nice here's the line like at the edge of a page.
Yeah, it was kind of cool with the auto log on one side.
Yeah, and then
it's original. I'll give them that.
Yeah. I don't know why I like that one thing. Oh, some developers like, let's rotate the camera. Okay.
And then Crisis 3, Year of the Bow.
Year of the Bow.
He did have more bow, but damn, that looks pretty.
I guess
the graphics were nice, especially when that dam bursts at the end. It looks pretty damn sweet.
Yeah.
Has it got any of
I do still want to play Crisis 2, and now Crisis 2 is on Steam.
Yeah.
It will probably come up in a sale, so I might actually buy it.
Success.
Yeah. My brother's got it, so he might play it first.
Okay.
So we might hear from the Kippers in a future episode.
Oh yeah, they put it back on Steam. Maximum Edition.
Maximum Edition.
Because technically they can switch publishers, because Crytek aren't owned by EA, so they did. Or published it themselves, or did something. It was a bit confusing.
I guess they didn't switch publishers if they're still in the EA press conference.
Yeah, I guess not. There was some reason that meant they don't. It's like the EA agreement or something means that they don't have to not publish it on other things. You know what I mean? If it's EA, it will only come out on Origin. If it's someone else published by EA, then technically there's a bit of leeway.
Yeah,
and which is good. More stuff on Steam. Woo.
Yeah,
less shit on Origin. Yeah.
Origin guy was specifically saying that they're not going to do 66% off sales Steam style ever, even though the Steam guys have proved that it makes more money.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's diluting our brands to have things
the people that want stuff on launch will still buy it on launch. Everyone else, like me, will get it when it goes cheap.
But it won't go cheap on Origin.
No, so fuck them. Fuck them where possible.
And that was EA.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Then you get on to some insanity.
My God, right. Before we get started, I want to pick up on something that I find relatively disturbing about the Ubisoft. Right. The Ubisoft conference, I mean. It's like...
What, you were going to do a general point before actually talking about the actual...
Yes. Before we get on to what they said and why it was ridiculous... In the same vein as Mr. Caffeine last year, let's just be upfront with this. The presenters are a great big pile of shit.
Yeah.
They are the most shit. They are so incredibly shit, they make shit look tasty. It is unbelievable. Weirdly, though, and here's my point. Aisha Tyler, it seems to be something of a swoon point for the internet.
Swoon point.
Do you know what I mean? The internet and journalism of the internet have been saying Aisha Tyler, swoon, and saying positive things. So bear that in mind as we reveal the shit that happened throughout this conference.
So she's actually a game director, isn't she?
Yeah, something like that. She's not just a presenter. She's got some important role somewhere.
Yeah,
she's also a TV star person.
Right.
I know nothing about her. I don't care.
Okay, I can't remember.
In the context of this conference, it means nothing.
I know Ubisoft...
Well, apparently it only means something to Americans, so it doesn't mean anything to us.
Is that the... Because I know Ubisoft have, one female semi-hot, high-up game director person.
I don't think it's her.
No, she was the one that was demoing the original Assassin's Creed back in the day. That's not her. That's not the one... No, somebody else.
The same person.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry. Carry on.
So what happened first of Microsoft was actually before Ubisoft.
This is genius.
Was the hilarious hot mic situation where someone had their mic on before they should have, and you get to hear a bit of. And it was just the hilariousness of he's talking to some things, and then he's talking about how he has his mic on. He's like, "Oh, you might hear me pick my nose with this," and then he's like, "Mike, fuck off," which is hilarious. And then, immediately after that, he's like, "Your name's Mike, right? Mike, fuck off." It was like, well, that was some great hot mic there.
Hot mic for Mike.
Yep.
That's great.
That was hilarious.
That was pretty genius.
That was a good start.
I did have to go. I missed it.
Yeah, you missed it.
I had to go back and play it again, like that little bit. It's genius.
And then they started off with some mic bling.
Did they start with that?
Yeah, he came out immediately. Because it was like the Dance Central thing, apart from their shit version of Dance Central.
Crappy Just Dance. God, how is that selling?
Yeah,
it's so bad. I suppose the Wii doesn't really have many alternatives.
No.
But yeah, Just Dance 4, presented by Flowrider.
With his ridiculous mic bling.
I still haven't worked out what it said on his bling. There was a word there somewhere. Yeah, it might have said Flowrider. Yeah, it still looks shit.
And then the insanity began.
Yeah, so...
We're all a little bit gay.
Well, no, before that. Before she said we're all a little bit gay. Oh no, she did say that first, didn't she?
Yeah, she did that pretty much immediately.
Yeah. She did say we're all a little bit gay, because it's like she was like swooning over the female dancers.
Yeah, and she was like,
we're all a little bit gay.
We all like that, don't we guys? Yeah, I like that too. We're all a little bit gay.
It's like, right, okay. First awkward moment.
I see.
Second awkward moment. Good. They introduced the co-presenter, the backstage guy, who is a jabbering idiot called Tobuscus.
He's apparently from YouTube, which is a bad sign.
But this guy was so awkward.
I don't mean from YouTube like the company who runs YouTube. I mean like he's some twat on YouTube.
Twat is where everything that came out of his mouth was idiocy and was just not funny.
And so badly rehearsed.
Probably wasn't. I don't think it was. There was just off the cuff shitness, and there was no chemistry there at all.
Well, they just didn't know when their cues were with each other, so they kept talking over each other all the time and interrupting each other.
Yeah, he kept saying things before she'd announce them, and then she'd be like, "Seriously, come on."
Yeah, no idea.
It's basically, it was he's happy-go-lucky guy. Aisha was sort of like trying to put him down and insult him all the time, and he's having none of it, of course.
Except neither of them managed to put that kind of emotion in.
No.
He was like bland nervousness, and she was like anger.
Yeah, anger personified. Yeah, it was all kinds of shit. It's like, it's like, just as a concept. Whoever was writing this press conference is like, backstage guy. It's like, no, we don't want anything backstage. Put on the big fucking screen where we can see it.
Backstage where? What is he doing there?
Come out and talk to us.
He's standing behind this big television screen. There's no one else back there. There's no, secret people to interview.
I'm going to talk to Mike.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
So, did they have any games?
Boobs!
Boobs?
That's what Far Cry 3 is.
They started with a shot of a... Where are they? Is it Africa?
Oh wait, I saw that, yeah.
Island.
Yeah.
Boobs. Yeah, immediate boobs.
All up in your face.
So much boobs.
Yep.
Followed by what looked like Far Cry.
Yeah.
It had a Pacific Island and some sea and some little boats and shooting things. And then
some drugs.
Yeah. It's fun.
Tigers.
And tigers. Which led us to the second terrible comment.
Tomb Raider 2.
The second terrible comment of the show where Aisha goes, doesn't that make you just want to get a tiger, use it as a weapon, and then shoot it?
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What?
Okay.
Random animal murder, success.
And in the chat we went on about Peter quite a lot at that point.
Yeah, as you would expect. That was also a pretty bad demo in places as well, where it's like, oh, you completely failed to actually manage to get the stab to connect with that guy.
You tried to jump stab and missed it, and so landed behind a barrier, and it was like, oh fuck.
And then was turning around, like, where the hell is that guy who's still shooting me? Luckily, I'm invincible because this is a demo.
In fairness, that's probably quite a good demo because it's like, oh, this is how this would work if you fucked up. Like, this is your panic state. It doesn't look like a bad game. Far Cry is so generic in my eyes, if you know what I mean. It's just
Even though they've tried to go totally insane with this one.
Yeah, they're trying to go down the drug boundary. There's a bit of Fight Club to it, like where it's like the bad guy me?
And they just give away the twist immediately.
And I'm going schizo?
And the twist is, in fact, a twist from a totally different medium that we've just stolen.
So is it the same developer as Far Cry 2?
Yes.
Okay. How does it compare with the Crytek game, as it were?
Seeing
as they did
I
mean with Crysis 3. Like, because presumably they're rivals in a way.
Oh, well, kind of. Far Cry, the graphics tech in Crysis 2 and Crysis 3 is far beyond what Far Cry's is. Far Cry is a good-looking game, but Crysis is on another level. It's how that game looks is unbelievable compared. But Far Cry do have fire tech, and the fire tech is impressive. They didn't really show it off for Far Cry 3, but looking back at Far Cry 2, if we're doing this big old comparison, their fire stuff is pretty good.
But later on, when they showed Far Cry 3 again in the Sony conference, that looked terrible. And that was actually on the PC PS3.
Was that when they did the co-op thing?
Yeah. That looked fucking awful compared to what they showed in this conference.
Yeah, it didn't look
like,
great.
This is clearly the PC version.
The colour is all very... like they pushed the saturation right up to the top. It's very blue. Everything's very red. I mean, I know the sun is bright, but it's not that fucking saturated with colour.
Yeah.
It's just
There's no brown in that bit.
Bloom everywhere.
It's not modern brown. It's like tropical island ridiculous colours.
But in fairness, in defence, a 4-player co-op game with a dedicated 4-player co-op setup. No, I can't. That bit's okay.
I don't want to cut into the Sony conference at this point, really, but since we're talking about it,
that
was the worst 4-player demo on stage ever. Because no one talks like that when they're playing again. They were just all constantly shouting shit, like, go over here, do this, shoot that guy, I've fallen over, oh fuck. And they're all talking over each other constantly.
The woman was the worst bit, because she was just telling people what she was doing. I'm killing a guy.
Yeah, that's not how 4-player actually works.
That only happens when a tank arrives in Left 4 Dead.
It's like, oh god, there's a tank!
Yeah, but then you're still all saying the same thing, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be even better if you managed to get to the point where everyone says it in unison or something. At a certain point, like after the first little quip of music, dun dun dun, tank!
So that was Far Cry. Boobs. Booby soft.
Booby soft. Soft boobies.
And then Splinter Cell again. Nothing else to say about that.
Nothing really new shown.
Avengers.
Oh yeah, I forgot that existed.
It exists. I haven't heard anything apart from just the word Avengers.
Well, they didn't really show any game, did
no,
they?
it was just like a
Marvel vs. Capcom looking trailer.
Yeah, it was like, is this Marvel vs. Capcom? Oh wait, it's Avengers. It's the only Marvel.
Marvel vs. Marvel.
Yeah. And then Rayman Legends.
Which looks like Rayman, the last one.
Yeah.
But
with some Wii U shit.
Yeah, they were talking about the Wii U controls.
Which was weird because this came up so far before the Nintendo conference that they even let them show the whole way it works on Wii U.
That's probably fine. But yeah, it just meant that someone on the touchscreen was like
changing
the environment in front. Oh yeah, that was one bit. Yeah, they showed the rhythm level.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool actually. But it was if you had multiplayer scenario, one player would be on the pad adjusting the level. So the guys running through it could essentially get through it. I can't help but think that maybe that will lower the difficulty somewhat in general, but maybe there'll be some complex timing things or...
Well, none of those bits of level that they were adjusting looked like you could get through them without doing that, so I guess. And the other question is, what the fuck do you do in single player?
Well, maybe there's a different set of levels, or certain levels are locked to certain player combos, or...
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm cool with Rayman. It looks alright. They changed the graphic style a bit, didn't they? So it wasn't quite so cartoony this time. They'd gone for a sort of like a slightly more rounded, depthy look, and actually sort of started toying with the concept of 3D in places.
Yeah.
But it's alright. I got no problem with it.
And then Zombie U.
Zombie U.
Zombie University.
Yeah. See, I started looking at that game thinking... Well, it's essentially like survival horror on Wii U kind of thing in first person.
And it was a hilarious trailer, and I wrote down clearly appropriate use of God Save the Queen on the fucking Jubilee weekend.
Yeah, it's set in London, right?
Yeah, with all these fucking zombies and murdering.
Yeah.
And like the last guy in the trailer is like one of the royal guards, basically, outside Buckingham Palace. It was like, okay, that's
I was half expecting a dismembered version
or
of
something.
the Queen, yeah. Maybe that's the final boss.
Probably.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I quite like the whole, like, trying to hack into your door and you can see them, like, coming up behind you slowly on the fucking tube station platform. You're like, beep, 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 beep. I don't understand what the actual hacking minigame was.
I don't think there was.
It was just like pushing buttons and getting it wrong.
I gotta admit, with the exception of the new Smash Bros., Zombie U is my personal favourite compelling reason for Wii U. I think that looks pretty cool.
I can't imagine why.
I don't know. There were certain aspects of that. It was the deep integration of it actually looked pretty damn sweet.
It's kind of cool when he was like scanning, and then something goes and it like appears on his scanner, and of course you can see the real thing on the screen.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
I don't know. It looked like a very, very good example on how that screen actually complements the game to deliver a different experience, which is something I've not been too sure about up to that point.
Yeah, I suppose they just thought, they looked at the hardware and thought, what can we do?
And they've done it.
Zombies.
In theory.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, early days, we don't really know. We'll see in the final thing, but I think it's what's made me realise quite what the Wii U could be capable of, but in the same breath, what else can you do?
Yeah.
Well, you could do that asymmetrical multiplayer gameplay. That seems to be the gimmick.
It does seem to be the gimmick, which I'm quite interested in, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And then after Zombie U, I wrote more Wii U stuff, but I can't remember what any of it was. So.
Oh, they talked about gun swords.
Gun swords?
Somewhere.
No, that was about that guardsman in the Zombie U trailer, where none of the Americans, they were like, he's using a gun sword. Well, it wasn't Americans, but some guy was like, he's using a gun sword, but it's just a bayonet on the end of a rifle. And everyone was like, that's a bayonet, you idiot!
It's a gun sword.
A gun sword!
The other gun sword does sound much cooler.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, more Wii U stuff, I don't know what that was, so never mind, I guess.
Blah.
And then Assassin's Creed 3.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Which looks like Assassin's Creed.
Again.
Well, no, it's Red Dead Assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically.
sure.
I'm not necessarily. I'm in two minds. Again, I'm in two minds. It's not. It doesn't look particularly Assassin's Creedy anymore. But
I don't know. I think aesthetically it kind of does.
But the fact that it perhaps looks more Red Dead might be a good thing in terms of because Red Dead wasn't a bad thing.
I really like Red Dead.
Exactly.
It still had a terrible skinning sequence. So he's like, I killed this deer and now I'm going to cut away into this new fucking...
What were you eating?
Yeah, that sequence
God damn it.
Really annoying.
Why would you bring that in?
At least it didn't make quite such ridiculous sound effects.
And he didn't have a stupid comment about it.
Ugh.
He didn't always make a comment, did he? Oh, he did
Most
quite
of
a
the
lot.
time, yeah.
And to the point where there was a trick that you had to like park your horse right next to the goddamn course so that it wouldn't activate the sequence.
Just say pelp.
Yeah, but yeah, and the kind of tree thing, navigating the trees in, climbing through trees in that looked better than I thought.
Yeah, the animation was still the same.
When he goes like between a fork,
thing,
and then he can like come around onto a branch that's kind of cross to the side, and that kind of looks.
You know what question this makes me ask though? Have they made the controls any better?
Well, they don't. I think they've always done the best they can.
I'm not convinced.
I don't think they can do much better. I don't think it will be better.
I think there are certain.
I think you'll still be leaving it in space.
On the other hand, if you're in
provide hints for the control scheme, so it's sort of there's like you're likely to do this, therefore I'm going to make it so you're.
Why did you see any of that in it?
No. But I mean that's what they could do to make that control scheme better. They could like hint the environment, so like you're not really likely to jump to your doom here.
Well, by the looks of most of those trees aren't tall enough for you to fall to your death anyway, so you might be okay.
Yeah, that's true.
For trees,
you still get badly injured from that height.
Yeah, not with Assassin's Creed.
Or sort of injured.
And it's hilarious how none of them could see him. It's like, I'm like 2 feet in the air, now suddenly I'm invisible. It's like, what the fuck?
And maybe
I love how in the trailer he like demolishes an entire British army or something single-handed.
Yeah. And it's also
he doesn't kill them all, does he? He just kills the leader of the...
Then he fades out.
He kills a few guys.
How does that work? But also they have awesome snow sound effect. That was clearly the best thing.
Oh wait, we missed a dumb quote that happened earlier before Zombie U. She was saying, I've got Girlwood right now.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that one down. It was terrible. Moving on.
Yep.
Girlwood all the way.
Girlwood. Oh, that might have been when they were doing the... I haven't made a note of this, but they did shoot... That might
that's
been
after this.
Oh, is it? Okay. I haven't made an
But yeah, good snow sound effects in Assassin's Creed.
Good.
Yes, the
And-
snow looked good.
And reasonably good looking snow deformation.
Yeah, it was alright.
I mean, that's fucking impossible to do, so I mean, they've done a reasonable job.
And it's dynamic, that wilderness, isn't it? So seasons-wise, so you'll have the exact same environment in summer without the snow and shit.
Cool.
I think.
Anyway.
That's cool.
And then Shoot Mania,
Which looks like an arena shoot.
which I labelled as, here's the Russian boobs.
Yeah.
More boobs. And there's like, let's have a 3-on-3 match, apart from it's more like 1-on-3, because we're going to cycle through who's the 1 and who's the 3, and then it's some kind of weird arena shootery game where you have to control a point and your weapon changes depending on where you are or some shit. It's Shoot Mania. It doesn't make any fucking sense. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it's purely about competition, is it? They're making a big deal of it's designed purely for esports.
Yeah, that was why they wanted to do this, like, on-stage 3-on-3 battle. It was like, esports, lol. All these people are totally Counter-Strike champions, and it's like, what? I don't think I would know any of it. Not that I would, but these kind of people, especially the 3
Counter-Strike
women.
champion, lady.
Yeah, all 3 of these Russian women who are all
Lady.
Counter-Strike champions, apparently.
Fair enough.
So, you know,
Counter-Strike players that hot?
yeah, exactly.
There are a lot of Counter-Strike players.
Well, on the plus side, they did still lose, so we didn't get to. They didn't have some ridiculous, like, girls are better than boys, even though it was a girls versus men team. The boys still won, so success.
Oh, for God's sake.
They didn't fall into the cliche. They didn't fall into the cliche of political correctness by showing girls for being better than men. They just weren't. So there you go.
Yeah, fair enough. If it was actually a fair competition, which I'm sure it probably was.
No, I think it was pre-recorded.
Alright, okay.
Really?
Apparently, is what people were saying.
Oh, right, that they weren't actually playing.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Which makes it even worse.
Oh, God.
Next.
And that was that. Apart
No,
from
there isn't.
Just
There
the
isn't.
one last thing.
Which is actually one of the biggest talking points of E3.
I don't know why.
A new IP, which we're
Well, I guess that is one reason
up
why.
a train this year, but
Watch
they went on
Dogs.
Watch Dogs, yeah.
The
which
talk of the show, right?
I think is sweet.
I can't see why everyone's so enthusiastic about it.
It looks like Assassin's Creed in a modern,
Exactly.
technologically advanced setting.
That's why I'm not enthusiastic about it at all.
Well, without the building scaling,
But
and
with
replaced,
shitty
and,
gun
and
shooting.
replaced with combat, like gun combat. And it's like, I think that could be alright.
I don't think we've seen enough to know. Oh, I guess it's a kind of. It seems like it's got a little bit of Hitman in there as well.
Yeah, I think you're going to have options to do things
Yeah.
like, well, you know, what if you didn't jam the traffic lights
Yeah.
in that trailer?
Hack all the things,
Yeah.
crash all the cars.
Yeah, I don't know. And there's a lot of talk about is this actually next gen? And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it is,
But
Yeah.
lots of people saying it isn't.
or it's PC version.
Well,
Well, they showed the PC version.
yeah, they showed the PC version clearly,
Yeah.
regardless. But
because certain bits of lighting looked way in advance of what we've seen on the consoles.
Is that a
And-
sandbox city? I can't tell.
It sort of looks like it.
It's very pretty for. I
Yeah.
mean, it's quite a lot in advance of.
Yeah. There's a lot of detail. The rain, when the rain started, some of the effects going on there look lovely. And there's little the thing that I mentioned to Zach was the attention to detail. The cars aren't just like crappy looking cars. They are really well modelled for like something probably, you know, a secondary object in the world, I guess.
Sure.
But little details. Guy opens the door on the car. The interior fucking light comes on. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game before. It's just like a tiny, tiny little detail that is most of the time no one would really think of.
I don't
And
think
it's
you
like
really open car doors in games usually.
GTA.
Yeah, but that's like the only other example. And often, I don't think in GTA 4 they would
Probably
have.
doesn't even do it in Auto Vista on Forza 4.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I wonder if it would. That would make sense though if it did, because they're trying to make those models.
But yeah, I don't know. That was just a little detail that it just sort of stood out to me, and it's like, maybe my graphics eye is looking for dumb things, but it's I don't know. Everything about that game looked impressive, from the combat to the sort of
The
weird.
combat did not look impressive. The combat looked kind of shitty.
It looked like a normal combat, and like I'm just sort of in the juxtaposition of that up as well as the sort of the cool. You know everything about everyone mechanic, and it sort of shows you little tidbits about everyone. Admittedly, the violence probability might have been a bit dumb.
Yeah, where he's pointing at Fizz. It's like he's looking at his phone, looking at the guy. It's like, why is probability going off as he's walking towards me? Oh shit!
I don't know. I'm intrigued. Very intrigued.
Interesting. Yes. Hold that, sir.
And that might... Okay, I'm going to caveat that, actually, and this is a thought that's only just come to me. There weren't many new IPs this year.
No.
And so I think I'm a little bit excited about a lot of them.
A lot of one of them.
Well, there's that. I said Zombie U. I was quite...
Oh, yeah, I guess that is technically...
Was there any Dishonored stuff
zombies,
at E3?
So what?
Was there any Dishonored stuff at E3?
Not in the
Not that
conferences.
I've seen.
Okay.
There probably was, but
I think they're showing the demo again, but I think it's the same demo as they've been showing before.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Fuck off, Mike.
Yep. No, it's Mike, fuck off.
Oh, okay.
With a comma. Specific pause. And then it was Sony, I guess.
Yeah.
My Sony notes are only as long as the Ubisoft and EA ones.
I got a bit more.
Which is worrying.
They opened basically...
They opened with an unnecessarily long montage and talking, says my note.
It was kind of cool music on that montage, though.
Better than Microsoft's one.
It was well produced. Sony always good at those montages.
Unnecessarily long, though.
Yeah.
And so much talking.
But you got to have a montage.
You gotta have a montage. I just said montage. Shit.
Right, and then what?
Quantic Dream.
Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
Which I don't have any comments or hyphens in here, so it just says Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
This is the subtitle.
This is finally the use of their, the successor to Heavy Rain from Quantic Dream, you know what I mean?
Which looks like it's going to be the same game, basically.
Sort of. There
may be more combat-esque stuff.
There's going to be a bit more to it, but it's going to be the same sort of
thing. Does it have
the
facial capture tech going on?
Oh, yeah.
Clearly.
Cool.
And
where they spend most of that demo just sitting there, looking at a woman in the face.
Yeah, but again...
A famous woman.
Again, this is where...
A famous woman that they've just given props to her acting, and then she just sits there the whole time. Face acting.
Yeah, that's true. That's not a great scene to show off Ellen Page's abilities, but it's this.
I quite like the hey Ash, what you playing joke was like, oh, games of the show, the Ellen Page simulator. Which one? Anyway, carry on.
But, well, in fairness, the Ellen Page thing does kind of perhaps explain why The Last of Us made their character change.
Yeah,
because it's like, I don't know, I reckon Sony probably stepped in and was like we can't have two Ellen Pages.
Yeah,
one of which is actually
Ellen Page.
So can you change that a bit? And so that's probably fair enough. That explains a lot. But the thing is with the Quantic Dream capture stuff is it is fantastically good at picking up the subtle in people's faces. The
subtle in their face.
Yeah, Ellen Page may not have been truly acting, I suppose, but you saw the twitches in her eyes and in the muscles around it. Just the little things. And
all the subtle.
Yeah, and for that level of detail, it's got to be respected. I liked Heavy Rain. This will probably be good too.
Cool.
It's and Naomi.
You going to drive your dude?
I wonder if they'll I'm assuming they've fixed that control.
Well, if they're going for any more action, they probably have to.
I was like, no, took this opportunity as a chance to remind me that she's still bitter that I finished Heavy Rain without her in the room. And it's like, well, I was actually interested in that story. And it's like, I offered to do it again. It's not the same. So maybe if we get this, I'll let her drive.
This looks more of a game, though.
Well, we're not sure. I don't know. I haven't actually seen any gameplay, in fairness. I've seen the cutscene.
But there's a lot of explosions in those cutscenes.
There's a bit more explosions. But apparently that scene is really long. It's a crazy long chase sequence.
Helicopter crashing.
And they have talked more about what the thing is, like Aiden the ghost that you're dealing with. Like there's some mechanics regarding it in that he can affect nearby objects with limited power until... But the more awake and aware you are, the more powerful Aiden gets, and the more angry you get, the more power Aiden gets. And it's not been clear whether you really control the ghost or Ellen or what was it, Jodie, I think is a character name. But it's it's not really clear how the duality of it works, as in whether you'll control both characters and the game will automatically switch for you, or there'll be an element of character control that you have to deal with. It's not clear how it will play.
No. Then PlayStation All-Stars.
Yeah. PlayStation Smash Bros.
Yep. which I put notes of, which said slow and weirdly boring looking, no impact to kills.
No, the kills are probably the most disappointing part of the game because they're hard to see.
Yeah, it's like you don't even realise anyone's dying. It's just like, oh look, a kind of a zap thing came from the
I didn't really know what was happening until the guy sort of mentioned it. So basically, their twist on Smash Brothers is you don't build up people's damage so they fly further and you kill them by knockouts off the screen.
Yeah, that's Smash Brothers.
That's Smash Brothers. This works by you dealing damage and generally being good in the fight builds up a power meter of your own.
Right.
And as your power meter builds up, you gain supers. Like a fighting game engine, basically. The more and the more levels you build up, the stronger an attack you can then perform.
Uh-huh.
Anyone then hit by your super move is insta-killed.
Right.
So the damage you receive counts for naught, really, other than the other player getting an advantage to building up their super.
Yeah.
Which I find a bit weird. I don't know, there's something odd about that system.
Yeah.
And then when you kill them, they just sort of go, this little sort of puny little white plume, and they're dead. And there's not really a big deal of it. There's no like, boom, you're dead, like there is in Smash Brothers.
No.
It's like it's a bit under, as Zach said, it's incredibly difficult to see when people are actually dying during the fight. Although we haven't played it, because we weren't there. The giant bomb guy seemed fairly... Or Jeff Gersman seems kind of positive on it.
Well, yeah, I guess.
And he did say like the backgrounds are kind of cool and how they interact with the actual fight is kind of neat. He talked about the Little Big Planet stage, where there's it starts off looking like a Little Big Planet level, and then as it goes on, someone starts using the Little Big Planet creator tools to start building the stage in different shapes and causing all kinds of environmental elements to get built as the fight is carrying on. Which reminds me a little bit of the PictoChat level from Smash Bros, if I'm honest, but it's still kind of cool. They're tying it directly in with what those games do,
and they reveal 2 more characters
on the Buzz level.
Yeah,
where questions are asked in the middle of a fight, and depending on where you are, is your answer to the question.
That's the WarioWare stage.
Yeah, bad shit or good shit can happen.
And they reveal 2 more characters for it as well.
One of which we knew was coming.
Great.
Yep. The second one is a bit of a weird one.
Big Daddy.
From Bioshock.
Right.
Because that's a Sony thing. That's all.
Okay.
Is that left field? I want to see more of that, to be honest. Like, characters we just weren't expecting at all.
Well, characters we weren't expecting because they weren't really that Sony-esque.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I just want to see more of that. It's going to be mental.
And then I have a mysterious note that it was about... They gave something to the crowd at this point, didn't they?
Yes, they went on a bit of a spree about PlayStation Plus.
Oh yeah, they were like, have a month of Plus free for everyone in the crowd.
Everyone that attend... No, they got a year.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone attending got a year pass to PlayStation Plus. Sony are desperate to try and push the value of PlayStation Plus.
And then
of which there still is very little.
There was a big cheer, and I was
there was one big thing that they announced about PS Plus.
And I was like, bribery, but why did the press care?
Yeah.
Why was there a cheer? And then it was like, blog fans planted in the audience.
Oh, really? Well, there was a few...
It's just the dumbest things.
Well, PlayStation Plus is kind of, I don't get
also, this whole section I've labelled as talking.
There was a lot of talking. In fairness, Jack Tretton, the Sony guy who was running the show, was the slickest of the lot.
Yeah.
His presentation, his talk was good. It's much better than anyone else's. Much better.
But there was so much of it.
But there was a lot of it, yeah. They did the typical Sony thing of talking stats as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we've sold this many things. This is our install base. Check out how awesome we are. $599 US.
Sony as a company are worth they just dropped below 30 cents a share or whatever it was for the first time ever or something. Like they're worth, I can't remember what it was. It was like a 20th of what they were worth when they launched the PS2, 2000.
20th?
Something. Wow. Well, in terms of, it's kind of
share price,
share price, or whatever. Stock or whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, he was good. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah, PlayStation Plus. They were pushing the idea that PlayStation Plus owners now will have access to free games, within a certain time period. So they were saying things like Infamous 2, Little Big Planet 2, and a few other things will become free to PlayStation Plus owners on a rolling basis. So this game list that you will have access to will change over time, but once you have it, it's yours. So if you pay attention,
Right.
There could be some good shit coming
They did already sort of do that, just not with quite such large games.
Yeah, no, apparently it's always existed. Just the capacity of it is going to be increased. And to more high-profile titles, presumably, that Sony have their mitts on. So, that's kind of cool. That actually does add value to having a PlayStation Plus account, for which at the moment there really isn't any. But Xbox Live Gold, like on a similar note, need to do more of their monetization, because it's like, the 40 quid you pay a year or something, it's got to be worth more. The value you get from that needs to increase now. Before it was I kind of justified it to myself because it was like, well, they've got the best service, and they still do, but they need to start giving me more. It's like, I want access to these TV stations as part of my gold subscription, stuff like that. I want to get more content. If they're dropping inside Xbox, which they have done, it's like, well, I need more from you guys to justify this. It's not going to stop me because I fucking need it for multiplayer, the bastards. But it's
cheaper though. I mean, Sony. It's not monthly; it's yearly.
It probably is an annual pass for PS Plus. I don't know. I've not been interested, so I haven't looked.
No, that's true.
So yeah, there we go.
Is there anything else in all that talking that we actually cared about?
Not a lot. They talked about Vita as a controller.
Yeah, I guess.
Doing the Wii U gig and saying like, look, we can do this.
But even worse than Microsoft's version of it.
Well, I don't know. It's probably about the same. Vita as a controller is basically a Wii U controller. Pretty much the same. Just with a bit more power on board it, so they might be able to do some more interesting stuff.
But they won't.
But they won't, because it's Sony.
Yeah.
And again, they're in the option territory.
Yeah. Not forcing anyone to do it.
And it's an expensive solution.
Yeah. And then there was Assassin's Creed on Vita.
Yeah. The Liberation.
Yeah, sure.
With Be a Woman.
Lady Assassin.
That's just
probably okay, yeah. Assassin's Creed on PSP.
And then they showed an actual Assassin's Creed again with some boat combat.
Yeah, it has boats.
Boats on rivers?
No,
on the sea.
Like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Boats.
Ships?
Yeah.
Right.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that work? Do you get to control the boat?
You control the boat fully, you line up your guns, you tell your crew when to fire.
Cool. Is it like a minigame or a real thing?
It's
probably
like
game
happens.
sequence.
It probably happens a couple of times throughout the story, I guess.
Is it like Sid Meier's Pirates?
Probably not nearly as
Well, it did move on. The demo ended when the boarding happened.
Yeah.
Whether they damaged each other enough that they had to resort to boarding.
So it wasn't really. It was like, as people were saying, is like your ship basically one-shots a couple of other ships, and yet you're getting shot at and taking no damage.
You take a few hits, or the enemies are quite slow to react and then launch their shots.
Yeah, whereas yours is like fire.
Yeah, they look quite nice. The sea waves looked pretty sweet, and the way it swelled and the weather got worse, didn't it? As the fire
suddenly,
yeah. So so the waves suddenly start getting bigger, and the ships are. There's like a 3-dimensional element to it because you can't fire when you're like in the middle of a big old dip of a wave.
Or can you? Don't really know.
Well, you probably could, but you wouldn't hit anything.
Well, they didn't really show necessarily that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's probably just a gimmick in the game as a whole.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Then there was that terrible Far Cry 3 demo again.
Oh, and I forgot about Vita in white.
Oh yeah,
white Vita.
And then after the terrible Far Cry 3 demo again, it was let's talk about this fucking Wonder Book for 5 hours.
Oh God, yeah, I didn't make a note of that.
Why did you not make a note? They went on and on and on and on and on.
Did they have J.K. Rowling there?
No. They had, here's some text that she said that we're not even going to read, just on the screen.
It's probably written by her PA.
Yep.
Fail.
Wonder Book!
QR book, as I know.
Well, it's basically just augmented reality, like another use of their
use of their thing that no one has.
PlayStation Eye and Move, because PlayStation Eye and Move, they did all right with iPad finance. That sold actually quite big and it's quite popular with kids that I know that have used it.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I know all the kids.
Yeah,
it's down to the kids.
But it's an all right approach. I think if they're targeting, they're just carrying on targeting the market that Move has done well for.
I think
which is fine.
The only good thing about this whole endless Wonderbook shit was they didn't actually use children on stage. It was like, thank God.
First bump.
No shitty child actors.
Although it did kind of go, it didn't work right for a bit.
And that was why that was probably a good reason not to have kids, because that woman who was doing it kept it under control even when it went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas children, who knows what would have happened.
It was like she was just trying to do a gesture and it wasn't picking it up. And it's like, and the guy at least held, he handled it pretty well by going, well, it is a live demo.
Apparently, for a change.
I thought that kid did alright with that Connectables demo years ago. She was fine.
I don't remember that. Connectables demo.
It's pretty cool.
First Bob.
Then after that, literally took like half an hour or something.
We spent quite a long time
on that. Forever. Showing some
it's
shitty
just augmented reality. It's not really anything particularly new.
Yeah, showing shitty kids shit.
I want to know how much this fucking book is going to cost, because it's just going to be a book. You know, you've
like paper with some weird symbols, basically.
You've got to have already have the move,
and
you've got
eye.
to already have. Well, the eye comes with move if you buy a move kit. It's how move works.
Oh yeah, I guess. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that whole ball thing.
Yeah.
It's not just a motion control.
The glowing ball of doom.
Yeah,
yes,
multicoloured glowing ball.
The
of doom.
orbs. That one on the end of wands.
Yep,
one balls. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to be... The price point will be key.
Don't let your kids read. Let them use a magic book.
This is kind of true, actually.
Maybe doesn't have any words in it.
You don't have to read the words, no. You can just have someone read them to you with fire.
Then there was Gears of War? No, it's the other GOW. God of War.
Oh, God of War, yeah.
Ascension. Which I've noted as, why does anyone care anymore?
No, don't care. It's just God of War again.
Literally again.
They don't even look that fun.
No.
Stuff just, it's just button mashing as far as I can tell. And ripping off goat heads.
Yeah. Over and over.
Over and over, yeah, that happened a lot. And there's some odd clipping issues in places, and...
Was there any Devil May Cry in this?
No.
No, in the conferences. Apparently there had been a bit on the floor, which I haven't really seen.
Could be that same demo again.
They apparently there's like a whole level playthrough.
They've been showing that for a while.
Yeah, it might be the same one. But yeah, it was there, but I wouldn't say it's...
And then the end of Sony was the interesting part of Sony, as it was with Ubisoft. The Last of Us thing.
Yeah.
Which I've just written down as it's Uncharted.
Well, it's kind of Uncharted.
I'm so not enthusiastic about this shit.
They're playing the stealth element up.
Apart from this demo.
Well, kind of. It starts out that way, doesn't it? And it's I think they were showing off like how you don't really have to handhold what's her face, and you don't have to.
I guess.
And there are some like
she'll get stuck at some point.
Yeah, probably. But the fact that she'll interact with fights, although we don't know whether that was entirely scripted or not.
Yeah.
But apparently
scripted.
Apparently, like before they'd shown E3, they'd done the bit with the gun click. Like at press events. Where
I don't know why everyone's so impressed by that. It's a good idea, but it's not the best thing I've ever seen.
No.
No, it's neat. But they've been talking,
the legality thing is more interesting. The fact that, one guy is quite dangerous.
Yeah, that's quite neat.
I don't know, in that demo, when he got shot, it still only took off an eighth of his health bar. And then the girl was like, "You alright?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine."
Yeah, but it didn't regen.
Well, no, but...
It's going to be like, they're throwing in the survival element to this, and you're going to have to, and the crowd, there's a bit of, I know, it's interesting. I think it's going to be a more demanding game than we've generally seen.
It's definitely going to be more demanding than Uncharted, apparently.
Well, yeah, crafting doesn't pause the game, so that moment where he makes a Molotov, he's got to do that. He's got to have the mindedness to do that quickly, at that moment in time, before the guys have moved forward enough.
He makes a really bad Molotov as well. It's just this tiny little pool.
It works well enough, I guess. Set some dudes on fire. He doesn't get them all, does he? Because then the guy comes and tries to shotgun him.
Why are they trying to kill them?
I don't know.
They're bad guys.
They're probably bandits, raiders. It's they're not trying to kill them, but they probably have there's probably groups of people that just carry guns and don't really want to
get off our land.
Yeah, well, kind of. Or they just want to...
Well, that's what happened in that other game.
That's their survival technique, in this kind of shit scenario, you find a route that works. And if you're a bandit with a gun and that's working well for you, don't trust anyone style, apart from your teammates.
Get online.
This guy is
unless there's some sort of like organization in the world where there's like a bandit king.
Yeah.
And these guys are like, I don't want to be part of that.
It was meant to be zombies at one point, but then it was like...
They didn't show any of that. Not this time. They didn't show anything about the fungus.
No.
He is kind of a killing machine, though.
He's pretty good.
I can understand why they'd be frightened of him, turning up. He just seems to unquestionably, kill everyone.
And he, defeats everyone in, struggles. It's like, we're both holding on to the shotgun, and yet I'm still inexplicably totally stronger than you.
Well, no, there's something about this guy has, a troubled past or something. Like, he's been a bad guy before this kind of stuff.
Makes sense.
Now
he's in worse.
And his way of protecting the girl is his, attempt at redemption.
Right.
By murdering everyone.
Maybe she's, goading him into murdering everyone for her, and she's actually evil.
I don't think so. She sounded kind of annoyed at their, kids murdering.
That is true. It was
well
done,
those guys.
Well done with all the, murdering stuff, I guess, yeah. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
She didn't seem too, shocked, really. I suppose she's probably seen quite a bit of it.
Well, yeah, considering what's been going on in this world, apparently.
She's not like, Jesus, dude, what the hell is wrong with you?
But from a technical point, there's some cool things. They were talking about how the sound design in this has been really thought through. How they were saying that when you hear something on the other side, in the next room, you hear it. They've specifically designed the engine so things come from the doorway, like they kind of would, I suppose. If you had an open door, you'd hear the sound primarily through the door, not directly through the wall. So there's a certain element of you can, they've been working hard on getting the sound right.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I kind of agree. Again, quoting Jeff Gerstmann, I kind of agree with his opinion on this, which is they've, when you start to push the graphical boundary as far as they have, as Naughty Dog have done, and the last two Uncharted games have probably been at the PS3's limit. What else do? You start working on sound and other things and things like that. And
that did look like it could be running on an actual PS3.
Oh yeah,
it looked good.
It definitely looks like a PS3 game. It doesn't. It's on the same bar graphically as Uncharted 3.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
So,
so it's
it looked good.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Different, which is good.
There's not many games I ever want on PS3, and it's nice to have another. So
that was the end of Sony.
Yeah,
hurrah!
We're done here. Conference is over.
And then Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
How did you forget about that?
I didn't take notes.
Oh, it's all up to me then.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Okay.
It was Pikmin and then everything else was crap.
Yeah. Started off with Pikmin 3, which is obviously awesome.
But I don't know though, I looked at footage, it looked like Pikmin 2. I mean...
What are you going to do? There's little tiny little plant things. There's so many polygons you can cram into that.
Well, I don't know.
Apparently it's been, the streams are a bit, we're not going to get the same impression from home, but the sharpness really adds something.
Yeah, going up to at least some numbers of P's.
Some numbers of P's.
But it's
P-up.
It's they haven't, done any more kind of graphical stuff to the... I don't know if you could or how you would do it, but to hide the fact that it's a kind of quite a weird map with corridors, kind of, and then
that's just
open
the Pikmin world.
I know, but you think they could have made it look more, still had that, but disguised it more.
I don't think you want it to be disguised. I think you want to have these defined areas so you don't try and go to bad places.
I thought maybe they were going to try and mix up the look a little bit this time. Like I heard, they were going to try a different, slightly different setting, rather than lush green gardens.
Looks the same.
Well, how else would it work? That's the whole point of Pikmin. It's meant
I don't know. Perhaps
to be
Shakespeare's Garden.
Well, maybe they could have added a slightly urban element, bits.
Well, they did sort of do that in 2 because they had all those underground mechanical areas, didn't they?
Yeah,
true. Which are even more bizarre.
Yeah, and didn't make any sense again. Whereas, you go underground and then suddenly you're outside underground.
So, what's the Wii U elements then? You got these.
Well, it's a map.
Is that it?
Well, there's a certain level of touch control, isn't there? You can make some orders using the touch screen,
or some shit.
Maybe,
yeah. And it's easier because you can have several guys on the go this time.
Different teams.
Your ability, presumably, to switch between them is
because they'll just be shown on the map, so you can just point to them.
Because it's kind of an RTS, it always was.
Yeah.
And I guess they can make it slightly more complex now than they used to be able to.
Theory.
So that's kind of cool.
That was the only good thing in Nintendo. Sort of. And then it was like, no time for not talking about games. Here's some talking.
Yeah, there was a lot of padding in general in this press conference.
Fucking Reggie.
He's all right.
I've never really liked him. I prefer it when a Watcher talks English. When he's in charge, I always...
Bananas.
Yeah.
So that was it. There was no time to talk about games, but we're going to talk about not games.
It's like we haven't got enough time really.
Don't
forget the 3DS.
All these 23 games we need to talk about. Well, now here's some other shit. And they revealed 2 of the screen game pads. 2 of them. Not 4, but 2.
The irony of the statement that we're pressed for time is that their conference was shorter than both Microsoft and Sony's by a hefty margin.
Was it?
It was just over an hour.
I don't think it was.
Then they went on to all the little video stuff, but it wasn't that long.
I don't know, I thought it was nearly an hour and a half anyway. I've got more notes for them than Sony. That's
I clocked it at quite a bit shorter.
But yeah, there's two of those game pads now.
Right, how much is it as a new...
They're not going to say.
Individual
they haven't released any official pricing info on Wii U. But the figures for what Wii U have been priced at have varied somewhere between £169, was like Bloomberg reported a while back, and over £260 so presumably somewhere in that margin we'll see an actual price point.
And they spent a long time describing a gamepad. It was like, here's a button, here's another button.
I don't mind that stuff. Ninty controllers are kind of a big deal.
So
except it's like the most normal controller they've ever done, almost. If you consider the button part of it.
True.
Which one do you mean?
Just the controller in general.
Right.
They didn't say that they've added clickiness. They didn't explain what that little rectangle is.
Everyone's fucking obsessed with that fucking rectangle. It's nothing.
It probably isn't. It's probably the microphone.
So they moved from sliders to sticks, right? So that's cool.
Yes. And they click.
And the clicky sticks.
Yeah.
Is that a first for Nintendo?
Yes. They haven't done that before.
Unless you count you could click other Nintendo sticks, it just didn't do anything.
Yeah, you could technically click the GameCube stick, but that had no purpose. Other than to just sort of...
That was the controller. Then there was some more non-game talk they talked on about.
The volume control thing was kind of interesting, because it could affect both the pad or the console.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because you could turn down the telly without having to reach for a remote.
It's kind of weird. Why don't you just have your volume correct? And then there was...
just have it correct at all times.
Just get it right, folks.
Then there was New Super Mario Bros. U University.
Yeah, the University of Super Mario Bros.
Which was another one of those games.
Yep.
Really quite boring.
It's a squirrel suit.
Woo. Balloon Yoshis.
They didn't really talk about what the screens... Well, the screen purpose apparently can make platforms in certain game modes to help players through. I don't know how much abuse that's going to get in making the game piss easy. But
why does anyone care about that game? I mean, one was enough, surely.
I don't know. You can't argue that they're bad.
Especially because it's just it's like the laziest way to make a Mario game for a new console.
True.
Like, what happened to a Mario 64 style 3D game? For Christ's sake.
It's probably coming.
Yeah, but
how
did they not manage to get it out for launch?
Well, I think they're probably trying to make a new concept after doing Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. They probably want to do a new concept.
That's another case of why do we need another one of those?
Yeah. They probably want to come up with a new concept, and that shit takes time.
And then it was time to look at Batman Arkham City.
Yeah,
I played that game.
Last year's game, released again.
With shitty mini abilities on a screen.
Again, I don't think that's such a bad thing. It probably adds a little bit to how
maybe
actual Batmaning.
Yeah, but it's an ancient game. It will be an ancient game by the time this console comes
out. Be a good game.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I already played it.
It won't look as good. Almost certainly.
Well, I played it on PC.
Well, it won't look as good as that.
Well, as good as that. But isn't Wii U supposed to have about the same, if not more, power than 360?
Yeah, supposedly, but
probably not PS3 levels.
Not so much indication of it so far, really.
No.
I mean, you're not going to out of Nintendo games because they don't go for that.
Ninty's art style is never going to really help us decide that.
And then one thing that I was actually excited about: Scribblenauts. Yeah,
that looked alright.
Console version of Scribblenauts. Yeah,
with a corresponding 3DS version.
Yeah.
Well, surely that suits it better doesn't it?
It doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's got a touchscreen on both.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't matter.
It's basically the same game.
I've got it on my bloody iPhone and it works really nice.
The thing they're adding this time is item creation.
Yeah, where you can mush things together.
You can make and describe things.
It's basically
you can make your own
compound
dictionary,
items, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
They had Automut as their example, which is a dog on wheels.
So you can attach lasers to dinosaurs.
It's basically
You can make sharks
Gary
with frickin'
Okay.
You can make sharks with frickin' laser beams on their head.
All right.
Quite probably. So yeah, that was that. Then there was a montage that I didn't note anything down, so obviously wasn't very interesting.
Does Scribblenauts handle mutated sea bears?
I don't know, probably. Mutated probably just means something not very interesting.
Yeah, it's probably one of those description rules.
Mutated sea bears.
Then there was We Fit You.
Yeah,
Wii Fit University.
This looks exactly the same, and doesn't really need to be a Wii U game.
No. Apart from unless you want to use it on the little screen while someone else is watching TV.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of neat. We should talk about this later, but is Scribblenauts Remix any good?
Yeah, it's cool. It's not got as much content in it. Oh, it's got
Is
quite a
it
bit.
based on 1 or 2?
No, it's more like 2.
There's an
Some
iPad.
word
I saw there's an
puzzles.
iPad version and was tempted.
Yeah, it's good. And of course it's super cheap compared to...
Yeah, it's like 69p, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And they do add content. Like,
do
I
they?
keep getting updates.
Sweet.
Yeah, there was Christmas
I
stuff.
might have to for 69p, I might as well just drop on that.
Did you main bass music or bass fish? I mean,
bass fish. It's a mutated sea bass!
It's all mutated. It's got like little horrible...
It's all
it's
got warts on it.
I need to make a giant mutated sea bass. And
So you can actually see it. That's the classic plan.
Scribblenauts live!
Yeah.
And they added using
dictation.
voice. Yeah, so you can dictate, so you can say
Giant mutated sea bass!
there you go.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
It's got warts on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can make
There you go.
mutated sea bass in Scribblenauts.
Yep.
Austin Powers will be non-fussed. Dr. Evil, on the other hand.
Solved. Anyway.
So yeah, and then after We Fit You, there was Sing!
Oh, God.
Don't care about stupid shitty party games.
Does there really need to be another one of those?
And it's like, what are we going to use this Wii U tablet for? Displaying some lyrics.
So nobody else can sing along with you
Yeah.
for some reason, because that adds to the party. Oh, I don't know. It's a crock of shit.
Yep. Terrible.
That's possibly the biggest crock of shit in any of the conferences, other than
I
Tabasco.
don't know. It's not like they were super hardcore enthusiastic about it. I mean, obviously they had to be somewhat enthusiastic about it.
No, at least they only had a video,
Yeah.
like, cut out.
They didn't try and do it live on stage or anything.
No.
And then there was New Super Mario Bros. 2, otherwise known as Why the Fuck is Wario Not in This Game? Because they're like, everything is about gold. You get power-ups to turn enemies into gold, and all the coins, and like, you have a like special Firefly where your fireballs turn shit into more coins. It's like, this is a Wario game! Where is Wario?
I like gold. There's so many coins.
Yeah.
So many coins.
I hope you don't get a new life every 100, because otherwise it's
Yeah, you do.
really dumb.
You do. I saw that in the video.
That's just stupid. They make a game all about collecting 1 million coins and then still get a life every 100. Even more removing the point of getting lives than they already had.
Mario's fucking set.
It's a Wario game. Like, what are you doing?
We could probably still die, though. Wario can't die.
Yeah, but that just means you need some other mechanics. And to be honest, considering they put Wario into Mario 64, I guess Wario can die now. So.
This wasn't in the show, but they did announce a new WarioWare game.
Yeah.
For Wii U.
Which makes sense.
Which would be cool. That's probably going to be a better explain the controller game than Nintendo Land will be.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Then there was another thing that I'm kind of enthusiastic about, Paper Mario on 3DS.
Right.
Why on 3DS?
Well,
I want to...
Why not?
I don't know. It's like... I don't know. It's like I just kind of feel those games like sit-down RPGs for that kind of length of time.
Well, yeah, I guess. It's not exactly mobile, I suppose.
No.
Well,
for the time
it kind of could be. RPGs can be mobile.
Mario and
they
Luigi,
can work.
That was a DS
yeah,
game,
I
wasn't
guess.
it?
But that was actually quite an active RPG. It wasn't like...
Yeah.
I suppose Paper Mario has been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted the Wii U version. Well, the thing is, Microsoft... Not Microsoft. Nintendo... Sony Nintendo...
Just go for all of them.
One of them
is
get them
right.
all in one.
I'll get it right eventually. Microsoft Nintendo.
Yeah.
they don't really have an excuse now. They can do like pretty much any game they want, mostly like cross both platforms.
Yeah, but that's a lot of effort, and they do need to like split
it's just
their
like making
releases
an
to some
HD and
extent.
non-HD version of it.
They do need to split their releases over the two platforms. Is their trouble? It's like they could make it they could make it on either, but they don't have the time or the money.
Well, they just want a compelling reason for people to buy a 3DS.
And I'm sure the architecture isn't
compelling
actually
reason.
that similar between a 3DS and a Wii U.
I don't think Ninja stuff is complex enough for it to be a problem.
So what? So hopefully it's better than Super Paper Mario, right?
It's not going to be.
Do you think? Think it'd be more in that vein? Does it have that?
No. It's not like Super Paper. It's more like the 1,000 Year Door.
I don't know about that. They didn't really show very much. They showed.
It looked a bit more.
They showed
like
here's a town and here's a little bit of fighting, but they didn't show like the level.
No. The combat was more. There is combat in the original Super Paper Mario. No, not Super Paper Mario. Paper Mario, like 1,000 Year Door style.
The second Paper Mario.
1,000 Year Door is a great game.
But the sticker thing is like apparently you use your special abilities. You have to use the stickers now, and the stickers are consumables.
Yeah.
So your special ability power is limited by how many stickers you have.
But it seemed to suggest that almost there was no basic ability. Like all the combat would be based on those
stickers. So what if you?
What if you run out? Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna get fucked by a Goomba.
You're not going to run out though, obviously.
There must be like a jump.
Yeah,
just jump the fucking Goomba.
Or just run away.
Yeah,
I guess.
There'll be something.
And then there was Luigi's Mansion 2. That's Luigi's Mansion on a portable device with different controls.
You know, I should be interested in that because I liked the first.
But then you'd have to buy a 3DS.
I played it through like several times.
It's quite funny how, like, when the GameCube came out, they had this new concept that they were going to do not these full-blown massive epic games like Ocarina of Time. We'll do these little mini-games like Luigi's Mansion.
Full price for them, motherfuckers.
Yeah, like Luigi's Mansion or Pikmin. And now they're like, yes! The big titles are now like, Pikmin! Yes! Yeah. It's back. It's like, that was supposed to be a little experimental thing, and then now they've turned into like...
They've been very cunning. In fairness, Pikmin 2 was quite a big game.
Yeah, fair enough.
They did make them big.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny how like this little experiment has turned into like the only ray of hope for like Nintendo people.
Yeah.
Where's the advance? God damn it. That's the only thing that's going to save the 3DS. Yeah, there were some other 3DS games.
Maybe some more Final Fantasy Tactics? Would that wet your whistle?
Maybe. That would help. Still not as good as Advance though, obviously.
No.
Then there was something that was actually looked pretty awesome. The Lego City Undercover.
That actually looks really cool.
And that was actually a pretty funny trailer as well.
I'm still not sure about the whole Lego talking thing. When I saw the Lord of the Rings trailer, for instance, I was a little bit like...
Yeah, but the Lord of the Rings one is just like...
Serious.
Like the sound from the film.
Yeah, that was just wrong.
It's like, what's going on? Yeah, but then they've kind of... I'm on board again.
Cheesy dialogue.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Awesome. This looks really cool, I have to say.
Kind of hilarious.
Is it from Traveller's Tales?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Lego City Undercover, right?
But then you'll have to get a Wii U.
Oh, I'm not sure. I reckon it'll go multi-platform like the others.
Maybe.
Lego's been
But it's
really...
called Undercover! It's got a U in it!
No. Well, that might have been the reason why... In fairness, it might have been influenced the reason why they changed the name, because it was Lego
City Stories.
Yeah.
Unless that was like a thing where they decided not to call it that because it was too much like Grand Theft Auto.
Or maybe Lego City Stories was going to be like the brand name, like
maybe.
sort of thing, and they were going to have several games. Like Undercover was perhaps going to be a subtitle, but then perhaps they just shortened it to Lego City.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Either way, psyched. Looks cool.
Then there was Just Dance 4 again. Blah. That's what my notes says.
It's even shittier on Wii, isn't it? Because you know the connect, it's not going to have enough motion sensing for it to work properly.
Yeah.
And like additional to that, like the Wii U tablet is so one guy can, as Reggie puts it, be the puppet master. And
be like, do this dance.
You control the moves. But it's like, those games are so bad. Like, you only get like a split second to see what the move is actually. Then it fades out, and all you've got is to follow the on-screen thingy. You don't get like much of a warning. It's like, you're going to do this now.
Yep.
Maybe not in that context of that dancing game, but that is a funny concept, having people doing stupid motion stuff and someone controlling what they're about to do. Could potentially be
hilarious. That's like
WarioWare. Maybe certain games like WarioWare could take advantage of that and make it friggin' hilarious. But
that could be funny.
And then there was another bit of Zombie U, but we've already talked about that.
It was pretty much the same demo, wasn't it, really?
Well, it showed a bit more of how it actually works, I guess, before they showed the video again.
Yeah, that was where they showed more of the actual, what the controller did in the game, like the scanner.
And then we get to Nintendo Land.
They made too big a deal.
Another talking for half an hour about shit no one cares about.
So where is this theme park they're opening? Like Florida or
in the Wii?
In their dreams.
Yeah,
it's inside their new console, right? So is this
right? You've only got like
home?
7 minutes in the recording to actually wrap up Nintendo.
Don't think we're going to need 7 minutes.
Yeah, okay, do it.
Is it like PlayStation Home?
It's basically more like
it initially looked like that.
Well, no, it's like it is a bit. Apparently, they are making that theme park area a bit of a social hub, which they didn't really. Show much.
Stupid Wii social
the Miiverse. We haven't talked about the Miiverse, which looks a bit weird.
And their main menu thing.
Yeah, like apparently that's the first thing you see when you boot up the console.
When you beat up the console?
When you beat up the console, you just see a load of Miis like swarming around icons that represent games, and then you see like a social feed on what people have been up to in those games, and it's like, nice try. Not interested.
Nintendo still don't get the.
It's like I just want to see a menu. I want to go to my game. I want to play the fucking games. But yeah, Nintendo Land apparently like the theme park is going to be a bit like the hub is going to have some of that Miiverse element in it, and yeah. So basically, it's a minigame collection.
Yeah,
it's basically Wii Play, I think, is the better thing. It's trying to do what Wii Play did, which was like, here's what the new controller is all about. Here's what you can do on Wii U.
Okay.
So it's a collection of, like, they basically showed off Pac-Man Versus, which isn't Pac-Man Versus, it's a Luigi's Mansion themed game instead.
And they spent so fucking long
explaining it. They spent a very long time talking about it. They could have just said it's like Pac-Man Versus, but then there'd have been trademark problems.
It's like, I'm going to read the entire instruction manual for this game, line by line, as things happen on this screen.
But they really want to make a big deal of the asymmetric multiplayer thing that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's fair enough.
The concept could be really interesting. I mean, I'm not knocking the Pac-Man Versus rip-off as a concept, because Pac-Man Versus sounds really cool. But it's like, the same. It's just the same thing again in a different skin, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's no bad thing. It's alright. But they just spent a bit too long talking about it. And, and then there was like the Ninja Star flinging thing that looks really simple. That they had at E3 last year, but is now a sort of a game.
So what game is that meant to be based on? Because all the other bits are like themed.
Yeah, I think that's just themed on that demo.
So are there going to be like regular new minigames all the time?
No, of course not. What are you talking about?
Nintendo won't do that. It's a fixed set because they've designed the park to have a fixed number of gates around the outside of this ring.
And it's not even clear whether that's going to be packed in with the console or not.
No, if it isn't, it's a crime.
Yeah, if it isn't, they fucked up real bad.
This is supposed to be their new Wii Sports, right? So I bet it'll be in there.
Yeah, because they haven't announced a new Wii Sports.
Well, they haven't announced basically anything about packaging or pricing.
No, they're going to need to do that soon.
They're not going to. They're going to do it in like September when the Japanese.
They're going to do it like they're going to do it like an Apple launch, I reckon. Like, here's
Well,
it's like it's going to cost this much. You can do it now.
Yeah, but it's not like they're revealing the product and then something immediately. They've already revealed the product quite a long time ahead.
It's never going to be as impressive as when Sony did release the PlayStation, where it's just like, oh yeah, you remember PlayStation we're going to be launching later this year? Ha! It's open, it's available now, it's in stores now, you can buy one as you leave, bitches. No one's going to do that again.
No. That was the end of Nintendo, apart from the post-conference thing.
Oh yeah, the
ridiculous fake family time.
Oh my god, the fake family. So cringeworthy. It's like no one is that supportive. No one is that supportive of each other.
No.
It's like the little kid would be like, "I hand the fucking thing over. I'm going to beat it.
Stop being an idiot. Yeah. Let me show you how it's done."
Yeah. The little kid would just be frustrated out of his goddamn mind.
And Grandma. Who's totally pro at gaming, clearly.
Jump as high as you fucking can, Grandma. Break your hip.
And then some water. Staring at bananas.
That is my favourite screenshot of the entire show, is Iwata staring at bananas.
Was he...
I don't even know the context of that, because my stream froze.
There wasn't any context. It was just like, we've been looking at this minigame that's based very, very loosely on Donkey Kong. Bananas.
Was he actually
was that it? Was that literally the only reason?
As far as I can tell.
Good God. That's funny, though. God bless Iwata.
Why did he suddenly have a leather jacket on later as well?
Because he rocks.
Awesome. Like, he was in a perfectly normal suit to start with, and then there was that bit where it comes back to him, and then he's wearing a leather jacket. It was after the zombie you. He's wearing a leather jacket, and then he does the thing that they did in the conference where it's like, I turned into a zombie because they have a stupid face overlay thing that makes you look like a zombie.
That didn't work very well, did it?
No. Well, it worked worse in the conference, obviously. Yeah. But then it's like, why is he wearing a leather jacket now? He was from the future, where he wasn't a zombie any longer. Or something.
Might make sense.
And that was E3.
The end.
It was boring and poopy.
I could have just there was no groundbreakers. There was no amazing. There was pretty much stuff we all knew about. There was no real shocks. I mean, there was a couple of new IPs, like Watch Dogs and Beyond, and
well, I'm not sure if you can really call that a new IP. It's just like it's another game in that series.
Sort of, yeah.
What series?
The Quantic series. Yeah. Drama.
Yeah.
Interactive drama.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's probably some floor stuff that we might...
maybe some of the more indie stuff will... If there is an indie presence at E3. Anyway.
There is, but it's not.
I thought the Ron Gilbert adventure, the Double Fine thing, Cave Story, that looked kind of cool. Obviously. Because it's Ron Gilbert. You see that? No.
Oh, is this what Double Fine Adventure is turning into?
No,
this is a different project.
Unconnected. It's the Monkey Island dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, we're running out of time, so I can't go on about the...
Wrap it up.
We can talk about that.
We may do a part 2.
So this has been our E3 Cast conference
selection.
Coverage. Yes.
Are you psyched? Are you?
No.
Success.
But it was interesting, because it's computer games.
I think we got the message across.
Yeah, indeed. I think we did.
Boobs.
Boobs.
Booby-soft. That seems to be the message of this year's
Boobs win at E3.
Who won?
Boobs.
Boobs won.
That's what I said.
I think Usher won. Because he got paid the most. And good luck to him, he's more entertaining than everything else.
Than the Xbox.
Box. Even though entertainment was the word, they kept repeating.
Entertainment.
So, see you then.
Take it easy.
Bye everyone. Catch you next time.
Microsoft Nintendo.
Yeah.